Park in Houston, Texas. TSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros have come back home to open a 9-game homestand. And good evening, everybody. Bill Brown, Jeff Blum, Julia Morales with you tonight. Alan Ashby has the series off. A well-deserved time off for him. The Astros are hoping to get rolling here after that rugged road trip. Blummer?
Yeah, it was pretty ugly. I think they're about ready to change uniforms, put on the home whites, and dazzle these fans.
Well, 1-5 on the road trip, a lot of strikeouts, not much sustained offense, and they really hope that can change starting this evening.
Yeah, it's been a tough one. Bo Porter said it best. They weren't getting pitched all that tough. They were just missing a lot of hittable pitches. And we know when the Astros do get in a funk, they have a tendency to swing and miss quite a bit. Thinking that 4-game series, 48 strikeouts, and those guys in the middle of the lineup. You're looking at Springer and Singleton, 2 rookies that are hitting 3-4 for the Houston Astros. A lot of this is being put on some young shoulders, but these guys obviously have the talent to go out there and help this team win ball games. Altuve is going to be a guy who's going to go out and do what he does, but Dexter Fowler at the top been scuffling a little bit of late, so look for these guys in the middle of the lineup start trucking the ball out of this ballpark and really pick up this Houston Astro offense.
Actually, for the month of June, the Astros month and the Braves month is pretty similar statistically. Atlanta has been getting great pitching, but Evan Gattis is the bat that they look to quite often.
I was going to say, he's a big thruster in the middle of that lineup. Big, gritty guy, no batting gloves, goes straight pine tar on that thing, grinds it down. But you can see he's got a nice short stroke, hits the ball high, hits the ball low. It doesn't matter where it is. And you think this team would be going a lot better having this guy in the middle of that lineup. And think about Gattis being here in an American League ballpark now where he has an opportunity to possibly DH a couple games.
Coming up, highs and lows. The Astros raise their expectations with a fun-filled May and early June. How is team morale after this recent rough patch? Julia Morales takes the pulse of the team and how being at home could be a welcome boost when we return. Comcast
The Houston Astros hosting the Atlanta Braves for the first time this year in a 3-game series. The Astros returning home after a 6-game road trip where the results weren't what they were looking for, going 1-5. You heard the guys in the booth talking about it. Some serious struggles offensively. You see the numbers. Batting below 200 as a team and the 66 strikeouts. Also the bullpen having a tough couple of days. But as I said, the team has returned home where they were playing pretty good. They've won the last 3 homestands, and they are coming off of that day off where Bo Porter's saying that the team needed a day off. Sometimes you don't want that day off when the team happens to be swinging the bats pretty well, but not the case for this club. He was glad that they were able to get away from the ballpark, not think about baseball for a day or two. Also, players talking about the importance of taking care of business on this 9-game homestand as they're trying to get back to the baseball that they were playing earlier when they were having such success. And it should be a fun homestand for the fans as well. Orbit's birthday is coming this weekend. We're looking for good crowds here at Minute Maid Park. Coming up, Scott Feldman on the mound, who's looking to have 3 straight solid starts today facing the Braves. We'll have first pitch and lineup for you next.
But there may be more rain tomorrow and wet grounds around, and it's that time of year. And the rain is certainly always welcome. But this is what really highlights what a great ballpark this is, Jeff Blum. We've had the open roof nights earlier in April and part of May. That nice breeze coming through tonight. Climate controlled. Let it rain.
Well, I'm commissioner, Brownie, I'm going to make it mandatory that everybody, if they build a new stadium, they're going to put a retractable roof on it somehow, because it is an absolute luxury having something like this roll over a stadium on a rainy day.
Can you imagine how many hours would be lost to rain delays during the course of a full season if there were no roof here?
That's one of the things as a player. When you knew you were going into a dome stadium or a retractable roof stadium, you knew what time the game was going to start. You could stay in your routine and just finish the game. You knew it was going to eventually be played and end.
Freddie Gonzalez just took the Atlanta Braves lineup card out, and Dave Tremblay had the Astros card before Game 1 of this series. The Braves are 2 games out in second place in the NL East behind Washington, and the Astros 14.5 games out, but they're only 3 games behind Texas in the AL West as they begin the night. Houston losing 6 of its last 7. The Astros are 9-11 in June. Freddie Gonzalez in his 4th year as Braves manager, hoping that his club can bring about a June turnaround. They're 8-12 this month so far in Atlanta. Here's the starting lineup now for the Braves. B.J. Upton leads it off. He's the center fielder. Tommy La Stella plays second base. In the number 3 spot is first baseman Freddie Freeman. The DH tonight is Evan Gattis. In right field, it's Jason Hayward. In left, Justin Upton. At third base, former Astro Chris Johnson. The shortstop is the magician, Andrelton Simmons. And at catcher, it's Gerald Laird.
Scott Feldman on the mound for the Houston Astros. Look back at his start in Washington, D.C. He took the no decision in that game, but pitched well, went 5 innings strong, only gave up 2 earned runs. The issue was the pitch count climbed up there a little bit. He walked 3 guys in that game. Had a tough time working with the home plate umpire, trying to work some of those edges, but you can see when he was doing well, keeping that ball down the zone, he was pretty successful. Ended up with 5 strikeouts in that game. Threw 103 pitches in those 5 innings, so it was quite a workout for him, Scott Feldman.
And Scott, after starting this season so well, had a marvelous low ERA in the month of April. It's climbed every month, and now 3-4 with a 3.95 ERAs. He tries to hit that win column again and square his record at 4-4. The last 4 starts at home, he's 0-2 with a 7.54 ERA. So this one tonight, if he's able to put that back in the solid start column, could be a real lift for him, Jeff.
Yeah, he could use it. Had some issues. We thought he lost a little bit of velocity there in the middle, but pitched great against Arizona here, going 6 1/3, getting a quality start on that one. But when he's going well, that sinker's going to be down. He's going to be moving it on both sides of the plate. Even has a little bit of cut to go with it. Relied a lot on that sinker and cutter. Threw the curveball every once in a while. But really, you saw it in the video, got a couple of those called third strikes with the sinker.
Last time out against Gio Gonzalez in Washington, a no decision for Scott. 5 innings, 2 runs allowed. He threw 103 pitches in those 5 innings. And now it's B.J. Upton ready to face him. Upton at 202, off to a weak start to the season with 92 strikeouts, second most in the National League. He has 6 homers, 21 runs batted in, and a low 272 on-base percentage for the brother of Justin Upton. BJ takes, and there's strike 1. It's Bill Welke umpiring behind home plate tonight. In Feldman's career, he's 0-1 against this Atlanta team with a 4.63 ERA for just 2 career starts. Upton's late on that one. It's 0-2, and he is just struggling the way he was last year, Jeff, when he hit 184 for this season for 391 at bats.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what the Atlanta Braves were counting on when they signed him. Still got a couple of years left on that contract. You can see waving through that hanging cutter from Scott Feldman for strike 2.
1 ball, 2 strikes as Jose Altuve sets up at second base. In those brightly colored shoes.
He was actually asking me about those, how they looked on TV before the game today.
Ground ball to shortstop. Jonathan VR. 1 out for Feldman.
Just saw Jonathan out there at shortstop making a nice solid play on that ground ball. As we take a look around Minute Maid Park, Robbie Grossman in left field, Dexter Fowler in center, George Springer in right. Across the infield, Matt Dominguez at third, VR in short, Altuve at second base, Singleton back at first base, and Castro shaking off some of those nicks and bumps in the Tampa Bay series, gets back behind home plate.
Second baseman Tommy La Stella steps up. 302 with 6 runs batted in and a 368 on base average for La Stella, who looks at ball 1. Tommy's 25 years old. He's from Westwood, New Jersey, and went to Coastal Carolina University. The Braves drafted him in the 8th round in 2011. Dan Uggla has just simply not done the job at second base. He's on the bench, as he has been most of the time as La Stella plays. 1 ball, 1 strike. La Stella last year was at AA Mississippi, hitting .343 there. That one comes out of Feldman's hand high, and it's a 2 ball, 1 strike count.
That'd be an interesting 1-2 punch. B.J. Upton hitting 200. Dan Uggla scuffling behind him. That's a tough way to start out a ball game.
Sure it is. And there was a swing by La Stella that's nowhere close to making contact. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. He was off balance on that swing.
It was a good cutter, good backdoor cutter from Scott Feldman. A lot of times you see that ball out there, you expect it to continue, but Feldman with that good movement brings it back towards the plate.
That one is fouled away. First of 3 between these 2 clubs in interleague play. Then the Astros move back to American League competition. Over the weekend, the Detroit Tigers, managed by Brad Ausmus, are in town. And next week, Bo Porter's club will have a 3-game set with the surging Seattle Mariners. That's a ball, and it's 3-2. So 3 difficult opponents, all playing better than 500 ball, coming in to face the Astros on this 9-game homestand. Astros have lost 15 of their last 19 games against the Braves. It's a foul ball. Feldman was so good to beat the Yankees first time out April 1st. 6 2/3 innings of shutout ball, and then he followed that up with a 7-inning 1-run performance against the Angels. 2-0 right out of the gate, and then his third start, a no decision, brought 7 shutout innings for Scott. All the way again.
Good grief. Can't get rid of Listella right now. He's made some good pitches on both sides of the plate, and he keeps fouling them off.
They don't mind.
Yeah, fans definitely don't mind that at all. That'll keep a smile on an Astro fan's face.
Seeing a lot of young fans here now that school is out on a Tuesday night. That could be playable. Let's see if Matt Dominguez, he's calling for it, and he does make the catch and foul ground for out number 2 after a pretty good battle by Listella. Freddie Freeman comes up. He is a solid player. Freeman has gone 9 for 19 in the first 4 games of this Braves road trip. They were 2-2 at Washington before coming here, and then they'll move on into Philadelphia after this series. 289 for the season for Freddie. 12 homers, 37 driven in. Recently he's been surging. The shift is on. Altuve's out in right field. Another one of those key Braves players, Blummer, who's gotten a multi-year deal and is a very big part of their plans for the next several years.
I think that's a good move on the Braves' part to do that, locking a guy like this, young, pretty well-educated hitter too. You can see his approach as he gets in there. You know the shift is on, but those are all the ground ball outs that they're trying to get off him. But when Freddie Freeman's going good, that unorthodox swing, he finds a way to shoot that ball up the middle and crush the ball the other way.
He lines it to right. Springer is there for the top spin liner. It's a 1-2-3 first for Scott Feldman. Aaron Harang takes the mound in just a moment. Presented by Bo Porter. Through Dave Tremblay's presented by Jack in the Box. And here it is. Dexter Fowler in center field. Jose Altuve second base. George Springer right field. John Singleton first base. Matt Dominguez third base. Jason Castro catcher. DH Chris Carter left fielder. Robbie Grossman shortstop. Jonathan Field.
For the Atlanta Braves, veteran Aaron Harang be making his 16th start of the season. He has 12 quality starts this season. Ranks him 4th in the National League. He's real heavy on the fastball side. You look at the numbers. He had a great month of April where he went 3-2 with a 2.97 ERA. Since then, getting beat up a little bit, especially in that last outing against the Philadelphia Phillies, where he took the loss going 5 innings, giving up 8 earned runs. Basically just a fastball slider guy. Important to note, too, he's a fly ball pitcher in a pretty good hitting ballpark.
Yes, sir. Dexter Fowler, the first man up. And this ball one. Fowler at 277 has 6 homers, 24 runs batted in. He delivered leadoff thunder on Sunday, a home run on the first pitch from Eric Bedard. And the Astros lost that game 5-2 as Fowler went 2 for 5. He had been 0 for 12 prior to that. So maybe he's coming out of a little downturn. Owen's in the air and toward the left field corner. Justin Upton coming over with room for out number 1.
Just got to look at Justin Upton playing behind Aaron Harang. We'll see who's out there with him. His brother B.J. Upton in center field. Jason Hayward in right field. Ex-Astro Chris Johnson at third base. And Drelton Simmons is playing at shortstop. Tommy LaStella at second base. Freddie Freeman at first base. And Gerald Laird behind home plate working with the beast Aaron Harang.
Both these pitchers are listed at 6'7".
It's a lot of human. Then you got this guy.
Altuve, the league leader in the American League with a .336 batting average. Lays off. Whoa! Whoa! Bill Welke rings it up as strike 1.
That'll test the height of the zone right there. I mean, that's literally right around his letters.
Ah, this is trouble. 4 balls, 2 strikes. Altuve may be searching for a stepladder. Getting back in with the 0-2 count. Yes, 7, 1 and 3, a 4.83 for Harang. And flicks it up the right field line. Coming over for it, Hayward, and Hayward can't reach that far. He does have a long arm. Harang has won his last 6 starts against the Astros. 14 career wins, tied with Bronson Arroyo among all active win leaders against Houston. And in winning his last 6 against the Astros, he's put together a 2.04 ERA. Breaking pitch off the plate, 1 and 2. Guess who has one of the best career batting averages against Aaron Harang? Jeff Blum, you do, .462.
Oh, I appreciate you right now, Brownie. I think he's a multiple offender in my book, too.
Ooh, multiple offender.
Yep.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
A couple of bombs off him. I usually did pretty good against those guys who could throw fastballs and liked trying to beat me with fastballs. Harang's a good golfer. I've actually had the opportunity to play golf with him out in San Diego.
Beaten into the ground, foul ball. Isn't it amazing? Altuve took 2 high strikes and 0-2. Now he's back in the at-bat here. And that's what major league hitters sometimes are faced with doing. They have to adjust to that strike zone very quickly.
And this is one guy that can adjust to pretty much anything. And I was kind of interested in watching him over this last series, watching Dexter Fowler doing as well as he did before this recent stretch.
Simmons, 2 down.
Is it Altuve? He's watching Dexter Fowler's at bats. When Dexter swung at the first pitch like we saw the other day against Eric Bedard and went deep, Altuve's up next, and he worked a 3-2 count. So it's in there. He can do it, even though he is a free swinger, but he recognizes the situations where he should take pitches and shouldn't.
George Springer at 241 has 13 homers, 38 runs batted in for Springer. Hit that bomb at St. Petersburg. And there is a partial swing. They check, and he did not go around. Called by Bob Davidson, the crew chief. It's ball 1.
That was a big time bomb.
Massive clout he hit. Hit that D ring. This one's in the air toward the stands. Freeman over for a look. That's one of those that causes everybody's jaw to drop, right?
Yeah, and I think if he was hitting it here and the roof is open, Jim Crane in his office might have had to pick up some broken glass, because it was absolutely annihilated and up in the air for about a minute and a half, it felt like.
George hit 200 on the road trip. He cracks this one a long way, center field, way back. B.J. Upton, George Springer, what a monster clout to center field. 1-0 Houston. Number 14, and waiter, there's a fly ball in my soup.
Good grief. That's on a 2-strike count, by the way. 1-1 count? My gosh. That's that high heater from Aaron Rang. And you don't see too many balls going to that part of this ballpark, do you, Browning?
Oh, very seldom. This was just fun to watch. There was not any doubt it was out.
It's not too often in this ballpark where it's 436 to center field. You can say there was no doubt about it, and that was one of them.
Now there's strike one to John Singleton. That's one to remember. Singleton with 4 homers, 10 runs batted in. Shoots one, and he pulls that one well foul. 0-2. Springer now with 39 runs batted in. Is settling into that number 3 spot in the lineup. Foul back. Rang had done a good job at keeping the ball in the park. Just 4 homers allowed in 90 innings until that one. Just 0.95 the last 8 games. And he takes that one for a 1-2 count. Singleton got the day off on Sunday just for a mental breather. Rang had the 3rd lowest home run rate in the National League when this game started. In the past, he's given up some long balls. As you mentioned, you experienced that against him, but he's done a better job this year.
Those last couple of years, he was pitching out there in Cincinnati at, what do they call that place now?
Great American Ballpark.
Great American Ballpark. He's had to adjust a little bit.
Good point. There's the play by La Stella for out number 3. And the Springer home run goes to dead central out the Budweiser patio and makes it 1-0 Houston.
We're in the top of the second, and Scott Feldman goes back to work, coming off of a start where he started to feel a little bit better as the game went on. Went 5 innings, only 2 runs, but he's starting to feel the way that he felt towards the beginning of the season. He's not there yet, but he has made some adjustments, and one of those is his arm angle, guys. He's brought it down just a little bit. I talked about this in his last start as far as he was getting a little sloppy. He's trying to compact his delivery a little bit and help him have better command, guys.
Is that leading to a little bit better sinking action, do you think, Julia, or has he talked about that?
Yes, Strami said that exact thing, Bronny, so yes.
Very good, thank you. And a 1-0 lead doesn't hurt one bit. He goes to the second inning after a 1-2-3 first and faces the DH Evan Gattis, who's been catching most of the time for the Braves this season. And his numbers are very solid. 294, 16 homers, 39 runs batted in. Gets out of that deep crouch. And he takes ball 1. Gattis has walked 14 times. He had a 20-game hitting streak. That was snapped on Sunday, but nonetheless, 375 is his batting average in the month of June. He's They've been on base in 25 straight games now. 2 balls, 1 strike to Evan Gattis, who played left field last year when postseason rolled around for the Atlanta Braves. There have been rumors that might be the plan again, with B.J. Upton slumping so much in center that he might be headed for a spot on the Pines. Foul back, 2 balls, 2 strikes, but for now the Braves at 38 and 37 move along this way and hope that they can find better offense. Freddie Gonzalez's team has scored 268 runs compared to the Astros 292. Different leagues, but nonetheless the Braves would like to pick it up offensively. And he swings at a breaking ball. Here's Castro, and it's an out.
I think that one got caught up in Gattis as he broke out of the box on that one. Good breaking ball nonetheless. I think that what Julie was hitting on is that, you know, keeping that front side closed for Scott Feldman keeps him going towards home plate, which creates a better arm angle. You're going to get that great sink, but you're going to keep that breaking ball down too. It's not going to jump out of his hand and be a little more visible for hitters.
Good point. Well, that strikeout as Gattis came around and he made contact with the bat as the ball was out in front of the plate. Is strikeout number 1 for Feldman. Now it's Jason Hayward. 256 with 8 homers for Hayward. And there's strike 1 to him. A very talented athlete. Right there close to the Atlanta area. He's just 24 years old. He was born in New Jersey but went to high school in McDonough, Georgia, and the Braves made him their first-round pick in 07. Middle of the first round. He drives this one out to right center field. Springer on the run. Springer way back to the warning track. That ball is off the fence, stays in play. Hayward legging it to third base, and he will make it easily. 1-out triple for Hayward, his second 3-base hit.
You got to see it all right there as far as athletes are concerned. Long way to run for George Springer, but that ball smoked from Jason Hayward. That breaking ball from Scott Feldman hung up there a little bit over that outside corner, but big man gets extended. Hits it into no man's land, and he got into third base relatively easily for me.
He was flying around second.
You see Dexter Fowler playing to the left of second base, which is typical for left-handed hitters. Usually when they pop up and make those outs, they miss them and go to left center, left field. No chance to get to that one.
Now Justin Upton with the infield staying back. He fouls at strike 1, so they'll concede the run with 1 down. Justin with 14 homers, 38 runs batted in, has a .272 batting average. And Castro out to talk it over with Feldman. That home run by Springer was measured at 441 feet, the 8th longest by an Astro at Minute Maid Park.
He's going to write himself onto that list a couple more times, I would imagine.
So, God. Fouled away, and it's 0-2. Braves started the year 17-7. Since then, they've gone 21-30.
And Aaron Harang was the guy leading the charge.
He sure
for that
was.
Starting rotation.
That's a smash foul. Well, right now, Washington holds down the top spot. 2 games better than Atlanta. The Marlins are 2.5 back. Then it's the Mets and the Phillies rounding out a very tightly bunched NL East. 6 games from top to bottom. Phillies signing Grady Sizemore today. He had been released by Boston. One and 2. It's about this time of year here, late June, Blummer, we start to read trade rumors, and people start to take them a little more seriously now.
It's always a fun time reading your name in the paper, trying to go out and play a big league game, wondering where you might be next week.
Exactly. Braves have been hit hard by injuries. Two of the guys who would have been in their rotation, Brandon Beachy, Chris Medlin, have been among those hit hard. Gavin Floyd was in their rotation. He's now set to undergo surgery. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They have David Carpenter, the former Astro, on the disabled list right now. And they've been able to hold things together with the 4th best ERA in the National League. Offensively, they are next to last in average runs per game, 3.6 runs per game on average for Atlanta. It's up for Feldman, and it's a 3-ball, 2-strike count for Scott. As you mentioned, Jeff, his last 2 starts have been solid. The last one at home here against Arizona, last homestand, very good. 6 1/3 innings, 2 earned runs, but he got a no decision. So if he can put a 3rd straight solid one in that department, he might feel that he's on his way. He gets a swing and a miss, and a big strikeout there.
Huge strikeout. 2 outs, man at third. Now you give yourself a chance to get out here with no damage. Great sinker on that outside corner. Just disappears when Justin starts that swing.
Now it's former Astro Chris Johnson, the 3rd baseman. He finished 2nd in batting average in the National League last year. 281 right now, 3 homers, 20 runs batted in. Breaking pitch, ball 1. CJ, with a .321 season last year, had 12 homers, drove in 68 runs, really caught fire. He's 27 now, native of Naples, Florida, who went to Stetson University. The Astros drafted him in the 4th round in '06 and traded him to Arizona. The Mark Krause, Bobby Borchering deal. Strike, and it's 1-1.
He got ejected the other day by Bill's brother, Tim Welke.
Yeah,
up in Washington, D.C.
The fire burns very brightly in Chris, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And he's had to apologize a few times for temper tantrums.
Didn't he get Freddie Gonzalez with one of them?
He did. He was taken out of a game by Freddie against the Rockies. He broke a bat in the 2nd inning after he struck out. Freddie and Gerald Laird were hit by pieces of the bat. That's a shot out to right center field, and he has tied this game at 1. It will go to the warning track, and now it's picked up by Fowler on an RBI double by Johnson. But then there's that side of Chris Johnson, and he gets RBI number 21. 15th double for Chris.
And that side sometimes can make up for some of those issues with snapping and some of the responses to things that don't go his way, but he always done a great job of staying inside the ball and going the other way. See a lot of guys stay inside and don't finish off that swing, but Chris Johnson right there does a great job, and that's why that ball was extended into that right center field gap.
Off the glove of Springer, and Fowler picked it up. Such a big hit for the Braves after Upton struck out for the 2nd out. Now 15 doubles for Johnson. He's aboard for Andrelton Simmons. Simmons, a very talented defensive player, has driven in 22. Won the Gold Glove last year at shortstop in the National League. 24 years old. Good movement there for Feldman, and it works for strike 1. Simmons was drafted in the 2nd round by the Braves in 2010. He's from Curacao, an absolute wizard with the glove. We were hearing about a play he made earlier this year. He didn't get the batter, but it was spectacular what we heard about it. He was ranging up the middle, reached out with his gloved hand, and then he was headed toward the right field corner, so in no position to throw. He just kind of flipped the ball to himself behind his back, grabbed it with a bare hand, and almost got the out at first.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's just instincts. Can't teach that.
Braves signed him for 7 years and $58 million. They signed Freddie Freeman for 8 years, $135 million. They signed Craig Kimbrell for 4 years. Starting pitcher Julio Teheran, 6 years. Jason Hayward a couple years. So they've been really locking up a lot of their talented young players.
Yeah, only time will tell if those are good deals. Great talent as we speak. Can understand why they wanted to keep those guys around a little bit more.
Fly ball, and Fowler's waiting in center. On the breaking pitch, Feldman gets out number 3. 1-run scoring on 2 hits with a man stranded. It's 1-1 in the second.
Braves all knotted up at 1. And fans, follow every Astros game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile, phone, or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download it through your device's app store or visit Astros.com today.
Great way to follow the game. It's 1-1. We go to the bottom of the second. Aaron Harang working to Matt Dominguez. Fastball is up, and it's ball 1 to a .240 hitting Dominguez with 10 homers, 34 runs batted in for Matt. Trying to snap an 0 for 16. Now it's even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt coming off a .130 batting average on the road trip, going 3 for 23. And he has plenty of company. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jeff Luhnow has talked in an interview about the up and down nature of young players. Several were hot at the same time about 3 weeks ago. Now several are cold at the same time. That is not all that unusual in Major League Baseball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's putting it very nicely, Brownie. If you look at some of these numbers. Castro 0 for 7, Dominguez 0 for 16.
Hold out the shortstop for Simmons.
Now 0 for 17. Robbie Grossman 0 for 20. John Singleton 0 for 13.
Altuve really stands out, doesn't he?
My goodness, it makes you appreciate what he's doing.
Yes, it does. Altuve has 13 of the Astros' last 40 hits. Now 1 out, and it's Jason Castro. Among those slumping players, down to .217 now. 6 homers, 31 runs batted in for Castro. He could use a turnaround game tonight. Curveball works for strike 1 from big Aaron Harang. He's won 115 games in the majors. He's lost 122. That one goes away from Castro, and it's a ball for a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Aaron Harang was drafted by Texas in '99 in the 6th round. Rangers shipped him to Oakland. Another trade brought him to Cincinnati, where he settled in for a while. You talked about that. And that was not a good ballpark for him with the type pitcher he is. 2 balls and a strike. But despite it all, the in 06 with Cincinnati. Harang was 16 and 11 with a 3.76 ERA. He struck out 216 and 234 innings that year. That's a line shot into right field. That might be the one that gets Castro started. Good solid swing. He got into a nice hitter's count, and that's hit number 2 for Houston.
Yeah, it's good to see Castro getting a hit. I think it's even better to see him pulling that ball. One of the things I noticed on that last trip, that barrel on him started to get a little bit slow. I'm not sure if it was just fatigue from being this part of the season, but it's good to see him drop the head and turn on one right here.
Chris Carter's the batter with Castro on at first. Chris 1 for 13 on the road trip. Strike 1 to him. 186, 13 homers, 30 runs batted in for Chris. Harang was in spring training with the Cleveland Indians. They released him, and in March the Braves were at just about desperation stage with all the injuries they had to starters, so they picked him up within hours after he was released. The Indians. 0-2. It's worked out quite well for them. His first start was at Milwaukee. He won a 1-0 game April 2nd, and he started his career as a Brave with 6 no-hit innings. Breaking pitch goes for a ball, 1-2.
And he does it primarily with that fastball. Glad that graph shot up there so he could prove my point. I mean, that's astronomical these days to watch a pitcher go out there and throw 70% fastballs.
Goes against the grain. Misses there, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. In his 4th start, he shut out the Mets 6-0. He lasted 7 innings, but he was taken out after 7 no-hit innings because he had thrown 121 pitches. No controversy. Freddie Gonzalez. Line shot into the seats, 2-2. I mentioned Chris Medlin and Brandon Beachy. They're both out with Tommy John elbow surgery, so they're not coming back this year.
Yeah, it's one thing to lose a couple guys to injury, but catastrophic injuries like that.
Braves have been known for healthy pitchers down through the years, by and large. Broken bat looper into center field. Castro to second on Carter's single. It's hit number 3, and it brings up Robbie Grossman.
These guys are starting to snap some of these streaks, and I think the best swing of this at bat, even though he gets a hit on this one, Sinker ran back over the middle of the plate, was the one before that he spoiled. Sometimes you got to do that every once in a while. Dial 911, do your best to fight it off and live for another pitch. And right here it worked out well because he got himself a good pitch to hit. Base it up the middle. A lot of these guys are going to be looking for that baseball today, huh?
Too bad. Robbie Grossman would like to end his 0 for 20 right here. Looks at the breaking ball, strike 1. 164 for Robbie. 2 homers, 11 runs batted in. Jonathan Villar's on deck. Astros have struck out 48 times in 5 games. That's a strike 0-2. So not only have they not been hitting, they just simply haven't been making a whole lot of contact. They've struck out more than any other team in the American League, 668 times. Grossman's down on strikes. That's out number 2. First strikeout for Harang.
Those are astonishing strikeout numbers for me.
Aren't they, though? It's happening all over baseball. For a while there, the Astros had really quieted the big strikeout games, and now they're back.
With a vengeance. 48 strikeouts in that 4-game Tampa Bay series alone.
Yeah.
Pretty good stretch of 10-plus strikeout games for the Houston Astros.
0-7 for Jonathan Villar, 6 homers. He's driven in 21. Trying to provide a big 2-out hit. Strike one VR. Tomorrow night, it's Alex Wood and Colin McHugh at 7:10 on a Wednesday night. And we have day baseball Thursday at 1:10. Lefty Mike Minor and Wood tomorrow night, also a lefty. Minor and Jared Kozar Thursday at 1:10. Thursday, dollar hot dogs. So the big opportunity for the youngsters who have just recently gotten out of school to come out and enjoy one of their favorite treats and some baseball.
They've got some catching up to do.
They can veer away from that nutritional program every now and then. 1 ball, 2 strikes to VR. Social media night comes your way next Tuesday, July 1st. And for a $50 ticket, you get a seat in the Budweiser patio out in center field where Springer just hit his homer a few minutes ago. And $15 of value loaded onto a card that you can use throughout the ballpark. And special guests like Jeff Luhnow. And the Astros players will be out there. Steve Sparks and I will be out there on Tuesday night.
That's reason enough right there for me, Brownie.
Pretty packed tonight, huh?
Yeah. I didn't know they were going to be bombed at by George Springer.
Line shot to right field. Hayward in and now back for out number 3. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. After 2, it's 1-1.
You can check out in-game live at csnhouston.com. It's your home for all your advanced stats as you watch the Astros play the Braves. And you can also vote for your player of the game because your top choice is shown on TV during Astros post-game live. And, of course, one of those choices could be Jose Altuve, who at the very least deserves to be in the All-Star game. It's kind of ridiculous right now, actually, that he's in 4th in the AL voting. Voting goes until July 3rd. But our Twitter question tonight is geared towards that. We actually think Jose Altuve, there's a strong case for him being the best second baseman in the game, not just the AL, but all of baseball. So make your case on Twitter. Tweet me at HoChenCSN. I'm reading the best tweets on TV. Again, that's HoChenCSN. Guys, over to you.
Thanks, Howard. Got a question for you coming up as Gerald Laird leads it off in the 3rd inning of a 1-1 game. There's strike one from Scott Feldman to Laird, a .230 hitter with no homers, 5 runs batted in. Former Astro Brandon Laird, an infielder, is at AAA Syracuse in the Washington organization. Gerald does the catching tonight for the Bravos. Howard, have you voted yet?
I have voted. I definitely have voted. And this is the thing. People can vote up to 25 times, and they can also get 10 more votes on top of that if they have an account with MLB.com. So if you vote just once, you can vote again and again.
Oh, good point. I voted for the first time today. They make it pretty easy.
It is. This online thing's incredible.
They give you all the stats right there on the ballot. We're going to talk Jeff Blum into voting tomorrow for Jose Altuve.
You don't have to talk me into anything. I'll vote for him. I got no problem with that. Got to get some fake accounts going and vote as often as I can. Get some aliases going.
Not that you've ever had any of those, right?
Never. No need. No need.
Well, sometimes it's good to have an alias.
Can work in your benefit. Especially that time I was over in Russia.
Swing and a miss and a strikeout. That's number 3. We're going to get an update on the AL All-Star balloting. Trout flanked by Bautista and Cabrera. Donaldson, Jeter, Cano, Cabrera. Matt Wieters is injured and will not be able to play in the game. And Nelson Cruz.
It's a pretty good outfield. How about the Toronto Blue Jays? What those guys are doing up there north of the border. They're crushing the baseball.
They really are. B.J. Upton's the batter. That one goes foul. Strike 1 to B.J. So playing alongside his brother Justin in the Braves outfield. Talented family with 2 guys who have been really doing very well in previous years. Now, B.J. didn't last year, but both pretty well established in the big league careers. But we say that, and then Upton has the off year last year, B.J., and then another off year this year so far. So it's an opportunity for him to reestablish himself. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But as you well know, Blummer, from being teammates of guys who are struggling to hit 200 when July 1st rolls around, that's a difficult reversal, isn't it?
Man, absolutely. You look at, he's got 273 at bats right now. That's a tough hole to dig yourself out of when you're down around 200. When you're around that 100 mark, as far as at bats are concerned, and your average is low, it takes you a hot week and you can jump back into things and raise that average about 50 points. But when you're at close to 300 at bats, that's when things really start to slow down, and you need almost a monster month to even get back into 250 range.
Fly ball left field, and this one is going to reach the seats. 2-1 Braves. B.J. Upton hits number 7, giving him 22 runs batted in.
Swings like that here at Minute Maid Park will allow B.J. Upton to breathe a little bit easier too. Didn't necessarily crush that baseball, but a curveball that caught too much of the plate for Scott Feldman, and B.J. put it in the right spot here at Minute Maid Park in his profit boxes. Pretty much center cut right down the middle. Looks like he got a little bit off the end of the bat. You could see that kind of a hitch in the swing there when he recognized that pitch was going to be hittable.
Tommy La Stella follows. Strike 1. The Braves are 4th in homers in the National League. That's their 72nd of the year. The Astros are 4th in homers in the American League. They've hit 81. These 2 teams have some similarities. 1 ball, 1 strike. Both have struggled to score runs. Both have low on base averages and are home run dependent. Ball to left field. Grossman backing and on the track. 2 outs. Freddie Freeman, who lined to right, comes up next.
Yeah, I think that when you're sitting back and waiting for those home runs, that creates some of those rough sections during the season. You got teams like the Oakland A's who just grind out at bats, get on base. Granted, they do hit a lot of home runs, but they're constantly having guys on base. Therefore, the opportunities are increased greatly.
Very good point. Freeman looks at ball 1. They just seem to constantly be putting people on, and then it takes sometimes a single to drive in 2. 1 ball and 1 strike, and Luno has talked about the bottom of the Astros lineup and how the Astros would love to get that part of the team going to try to create some of those innings we're talking about. Broken bat fly ball, Fowler in. The B.J. Upton homer makes it Braves 2, Astros 1 in the third.
And it's time for you to tweet your photos using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast that's brought to you by AT&T. Brownie and Blummer got a chance to listen to Bo Porter today. I don't know if you guys heard him, but earlier talking about the offense and the inconsistency and how there's so many guys struggling right now. So it's very, very noticeable. He even mentioned, when there's some hot guys on the team, you're not really paying attention to the guys who aren't doing well. But right now, when there's so many of them, it is tough. And as a manager, right now, he has to be consistent and make sure everyone's mentally fresh throughout the season, giving some guys some days off here recently.
That is strike one. Dexter Fowler swinging at it. He had a 2-0 pitch and hit a fly ball to left in the first. That's a juggling act for a manager sometimes. Trying to get the guys who are cold onto the bench for a game or two. And then trying to play some other people who might be able to help pick up the offense. But at the same time, not putting somebody in file 13 and saying, well, if this guy has 4 hits, you'll just stay here for a while. Right, Blummer?
Yeah. It's tough trying to figure out who's hot, who's not. How do you plug these guys in? Because you got to have your regulars in there on a daily basis, because it doesn't matter if those guys are going well or not. They need to get their ABs, and the more ABs they get, the quicker they normally work out of some of those situations. And the part that I found interesting about that guy right there, John Singleton, is that mental day turned into a pinch hit strikeout. And I'm not too sure if that sat too well during the off day, because you remember that last at bat a little bit more often than you would like to sometimes.
Now, if you have one at bat in a game, that's an at bat like the one he had, as opposed to maybe having 4, going 0 for 4, but you hit the ball well a couple times, that goes down a lot better mentally, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. If you may be in a tough stretch where you're 0 for 15, something like that, but you hit 3 bullets as a left-handed hitter right at the shortstop, and he makes great plays on you. You can walk back and say, look, I had a plan, I executed, and I barreled it up. So that could lead to bigger and better things.
2-2 to Fowler. Now full count to Dexter, who's from Georgia, and he was talking with some of the Braves broadcasters about living in that area, growing up there. Talking about their new stadium, which they'll have in 2017. Foul back.
It's crazy to me to think that they're going to build a new stadium after they did such. I thought they did a pretty good job with the one they have right now in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But I guess I talked to a couple people today in Atlanta, had a chance to do a radio show up there, and they said that Cobb County is where a bulk of their fans come from.
Okay.
So they want to be a little more accommodating, but still, you're not just building a house, you're building a full-on stadium.
Fowler really worked for that walk. The appeal went down to James Hoyt.
At Lowe's, we never stop improving, and neither does Jose Altuve. That's what he is doing here at Minute Maid Park since 2012. Starting out at 284, up to 292 in 2013, and now in 2014 at 329. Those are pretty good numbers. You want to see improvement, but not normally you're going to see guys improving to 329.
That's a big jump. Grounded to short earlier. Ball one. I wanted to see if Harang was going to throw a pitch up high to him again because of the way that strike zone was called the first time, Jeff.
Yeah, there were definitely some high calls that last time Altuve was up. And this Dexter Fowler leading off this inning with a walk is eerily similar to what the Astros were doing when they were playing extremely well and winning a lot of ball games.
51 pitches for Harang. There's a toss over to first. There have been 10 steals in 14 tries with Harang pitching this year. Fowler is 6 for 9.
Yeah, Fowler for me, and I've talked to Ash and I have talked about it quite a bit. We're kind of surprised that he hasn't run more.
He's going. Bouncer behind him, and that sneaks on through into right field. Fowler going to third. Stop sign for Pat Listash. Great work by Altuve. He had a big hole on the right side. Just hit a lazy ground ball for hit number 104.
Sometimes you put the hit and run on when guys are struggling a little bit. Not necessarily with Altuve, because you're probably doing this because the ball club is struggling. You're trying to create situations to get runners a little bit closer to home plate. And with Dexter Fowler taking off, the second baseman vacates, and that's an easy stroke for Jose Altuve to find.
How big can that be now? First and third, nobody out on the little grounder, and now George Springer's the batter. Fowler started it with a walk. Springer ripped a deep home run to center field. There's strike one. And we talked about all the strikeouts, and what you're seeing here is the Astros putting together an inning. We'll see how it goes with a walk and a bouncing single with a runner on the move. Altuve leads the American League in steals with 26. He's been caught only 3 times.
Yeah, Harang's not pitching like there's a runner on first base either right now. Normally you might see some fastballs trying to give the catcher Jared Laird a little bit quicker effort to get down to second base, but now he's worried about that runner at third base.
Two.
He's writing his name on Aaron Harang's pink slip, isn't he? 11 for 15 off him.
Yes, he is. A little cordial toss over to first with a 1-2 count. Quite often is ordered by the bench. I don't know if pitchers are allowed to throw over on their own anymore.
Yeah, there's parts of the game that have actually turned pretty robotic.
Good stop there by Laird, and it's 2-2. The Braves last year were 96-66. They won the NL East by 10 games, and then they lost to the Dodgers in the division series 3-1. Had that long-term stability with Bobby Cox, their skipper for so many years, and then Freddie Gonzalez handpicked as his successor. Chop to third. There's a throw to second by Johnson, and then Fowler will get back to third base, and Springer reaches first as it's a 5-4 force at second on out number 1.
Pretty good base running by Fowler. Nobody out right there. That's a tough situation. You see the high chop and you want to break towards home, but he held his ground. I think that was a pretty good move. See it right here. Usually when that ball's hit to the corner, you really got to think about what you're going to do. Listella tried the pump fake to entice Fowler to go home. Stay on your toes. Pretty good read.
The objective is to stay out of the double play. He did that by not going. He knew they couldn't turn 2 because that ball had such a big hop in it. Singleton looks at strike one. He grounded out in the first inning. Harang goes way back against the Astros. His first career start against them was back in 2001. Again, a throw to first. Springer is 1 for 3 in steals. Harang was with Oakland first time he faced the Astros. Shane Reynolds pitched against him. Last year he beat Bud Norris in Seattle in June on a 2-hitter, 4-0. No walks, 10 strikeouts. J.D. Martinez had both the hits. J.D. and the Tigers will be here over the weekend. He is hitting well for Detroit. Springer's being watched.
Well, you can't take your eyes off him. You saw the numbers he put up in the minor leagues. It's just a matter of time before he starts trying to take off here in the big leagues.
That's true. That's the one part of his game that has not been aggressive so far.
And in his defense, hitting in the middle of that order, you're trying to give those other guys behind you a chance.
There's the toss, and Estella turns it on a 6-4-3 double play to get out of the third inning with no runs, a hit, and a man left. 2-1 Braves.
Our minor league report is presented by your local Honda dealer. Take a look at who we got. We got infielder Enrique Hernandez. Just promoted to OKC back in April 16th, and he's been swinging the bat extremely well. 329 on the season. 7 bombs to go in there, too. Nice, driving the ball in, driving runners in. And Austin Waits, we've seen him a couple times this year on the minor league report. He's doing a great job. 296, 19 bags, third-round pick out of 2010. Future awaits those guys.
Aaron Harang versus Scott Feldman. 2-1 Braves. Going to inning number 4, and Evan Gattis leads it off. He struck out earlier. And a little cutter outside for ball 1 with Altuve over on the shortstop side of second for Gattis. Yeah, we were checking around about Enrique Hernandez. He's viewed as a very competent guy who can play a lot of different positions. Swings the bat pretty well. Possible utility type in the big leagues. And that's part of the developmental process that he's at AAA right now.
Put up numbers like that on offense, they'll find a place for you.
Good point. That's in the air and foul. Singleton coming over and will not get to it. Terry Pendleton, first base coach, gets out of his way, and it's a 2-1 count. Looks good with his gear on tonight.
Pretty generous attitude, too. Give that one away to that young man right there.
Very nice. Oakland breaks it in the dirt, and it's a 3-ball, 1-strike count for Scott. Braves are averaging just 3.9 runs per game in the month of June. Seems like old times with these two teams playing. Foul back. They've played each other so many times. Important playoff games and pennant race games. Marquee stars, Chipper Jones, and all the Braves starting pitchers. You know, 2 of them going into the Hall of Fame this year. Bobby Cox. So it brings back a lot of great memories from years like '05.
Some epic battles between these two franchises.
Shot, backhanded. Dominguez. Accurate throw. He's one of those guys who very seldom is not on the mark.
No, he makes it look easy. It drives me nuts. No, it's not that easy. You got a big right-handed hitter like that, but he's got such good feet. You look at a guy like Matty D, and you wouldn't assume that he'd have those quick feet, but when he's down there at third base, he gets himself in pretty good position all the time to make those plays.
He's third in the majors in range factor at third base qualifier, so those quick feet are helping him get moving to both sides. Jason Hayward tripled and scored in the second. Yeah, a guy like Brooks Robinson, of course, was not fast at all, but he had those quick feet. 16 Gold Gloves later, he had through the point. And it's so important at a position like that, as you well know, having played it for so many years, to just get that first step so quickly.
It means everything.
One and one.
Especially at third base, even up the middle, if you want to get those feet in the right spot, you're going to have that good first step to be able to get around it, get yourself a good hop. But at third base, it's the difference between a base hit, or actually a double in that case down the line, double or an out.
Foul back. 1 and 2. You see any young third baseman you really like defensively? Now, we've seen Matt for a while, but let's just remove him from the equation. Who would you like defensively among the young guys this season?
I'd like to see Manny Machado get back to full strength. I thought what he was doing over there was pretty incredible, having moved from shortstop in the minor leagues to play third base in the big leagues, making it look easy.
Caught by Altuve, broken down liner.
Help the Astros celebrate over its birthday weekend, presented by Coca-Cola, Minute Maid, and Kroger. 10,000 fans will receive an Orbit antenna this Sunday when the Astros host the Tigers at 1:10 p.m. Visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS for tickets.
Ash will bring you an antenna out to Anaheim for your next series out there.
I will be eternally grateful if he does. Wear good storm. Good broadcasting headwear.
Weston Upton struck out in the second inning. Be the first on your block. How does it feel to be back in Houston? You don't spend much time here anymore.
It is so great, and I appreciated the day off yesterday. Relax, get around town, see what was going on.
Yeah.
But no, it feels good. It feels normal. It feels natural.
And you've brought some rain into the area. Much needed rain.
That's good to hear because you guys got plenty.
Deep drive left center. That will make it 3-1 Braves. A no-doubter by Justin Upton, number 15. That's 39 runs batted in for the Braves left fielder.
Had the great pleasure of being a teammate of Justin Upton's. A great kid, good guy to have in the clubhouse, but watching him take batting practice, he was the Arizona Diamondbacks version of George Springer before Springer was around. And you get a good idea of what he can do with the bat. When he lays the barrel on it, he doesn't hit too many cheapies, and he likes hitting those line drives, and this drilled one of the community signs out there in deep left center.
Tape measure. Both the Upton brothers have gone off in this game. Chris Johnson taking strike one.
There's one for Elias and Bloomberg and everybody that's keeping track of stats. How many times have the Upton brothers homered in a game?
Yeah. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. That's 8 home runs allowed now this season by Feldman. He's in his 70th inning.
Younger brother's always trying to outdo the older.
Foul ball, and it's 1-2. Coming into this game, BJ was 1 for his last 18, and Justin was hitting 135 for his previous 9 games.
There's something about opposing teams and guys who are struggling who come in here to play a series.
They wake up. That's strikeout number 4 for Feldman. Justin Upton's home run makes it 3-1 Atlanta in the 4th.
Park. And Jose Altuve and Astros legend Larry Dierker will be signing autographs at the Whataburger at 905 North Loop West next Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Sign up to be the Whataburger What a Fan for a chance to win great prizes, including lunch with team president Reed Ryan. Visit Astros.com for information. Crowny.
Well, the conversation will be sparkling if Reed is there. Thanks, Julia. Bottom of the 4th inning, it is 3-1 Braves. Each club with 4 hits, no errors. Matt Dominguez fouls it for strike 1. Grounded out in the 2nd inning. Astros have come from behind to win 9 times in their 33 wins this season. That's out to center field. BJ Upton back. 1 down. Jason Castro will follow. Jason single to right field in the 2nd. This game 1 of a 3-game set, then 3 more with Detroit, 3 more with Seattle before the Astros go on the road to Anaheim and Texas next trip.
Get you out of the house, huh, Brownie?
Yeah. There have been 5 sets of brothers who have homered in the same game as teammates at least 3 times. So, wow. Yeah. A little convoluted. That's strike 1 to Castro.
I have to take your word for it.
A lot to keep track of, right?
Yeah.
The 2nd time the Upton brothers have homered in the same game this year for the Braves. Castro's behind 0-2 now. With Carter on deck.
Last year, BJ hit a home run to tie the game in early April, and then Justin stepped up and hit the game winner. Both in the 9th inning.
Oh, flare to left field. That is in for a Castro hit, and he's 2 for 2 in this game. So Jason just found that landing zone behind third base, and it was too long a run for Justin Upton to get there to prevent his 2nd hit of the night.
That's a peach, hon. Nice little drop shot. And what's interesting about playing here at Minute Maid Park, too, is that with that Crawford box coming in and that out-of-town scoreboard kind of being in place, sometimes you'll see that left fielder shift it over towards that bullpen, so it leaves that big gap over there towards that line for shots just like that.
Good point. Carter singled on a broken bat to center field. Ball 1 to him. White Sox lead the Orioles 3-1. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Baltimore. Gordon Beckham for his 7th home run, and Steve Pearce for Baltimore answered with his 7th. Now it's 2-0 to Chris Carter. Marlins and Phillies are in the top of the 7th inning of Philadelphia. 7-2 Phils. Marlon Byrd hit his 13th. He's had a nice year so far. Phillies very much in the thick of things. And it would seem that it's premature to call them sellers. Jimmy Rollins would prefer to stay in Philadelphia unless they're just breaking up the whole team, and then he said he might okay a trade. Probably their most marketable player.
I was going to say that'd be crazy. Yeah, but Cole Hamels, he's going to garner a lot of attention if they become sellers.
Yeah. 3 balls and strike, and the trade rumors are swirling around pitchers like the Cubs' Jeff Samardzija, the Shark, and Jason Hamill.
Tell you what, Samardzija's an interesting one to me. That's a guy you could trade for instead of being one of those hired mercenaries that ends up back on the free agent market. You lock him up for years to come. That might be a great move.
Might be. On Carter now. Grossman on deck. Carter takes a walk. That's his 23rd of the year. 2nd walk of the night for Harang.
Great guests, hot topics, and no holds barred debate. Kevin Eschenfelder serves it up fresh every single night on Sports Talk Live every weeknight at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Now Robbie Grossman, who struck out with 2 men on in the 2nd, gets another opportunity with 2 men on and 1 out here in the 4th. VR's on deck. That's ball 1 to him. And the count went to 3-1 on Carter. It seemed logical that Harang might not want to walk Chris. Certainly didn't want to give in to the big guy, Kevin.
Yeah, not here at Minute Maid. His numbers actually getting a little bit better here at home. Saw that streak last homestand where he was driving the ball out of the ballpark. It just takes 1.
Back to center field. BJ Upton on the run. Castro will go back to 2nd to tag. There's the catch on the warning track. Castro to 3rd. The throw comes into 2nd base. And it's a long out, number 2. Grossman drove the ball, but it was caught about 400 feet away.
The way Robbie's going, he's going to need somebody to trip on their shoelace or forget their glove at the ballpark or something like that. But that was a good swing. Hopefully that's one of those swings we were talking about earlier where it just takes a nice solid stroke and you realize you can actually still barrel the ball a little bit and look forward to your next at bat.
Now 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. Jonathan Villar. He hit a fly ball to right in the 2nd inning. An important 2-out hit here with his club trailing 3-1 in the 4th. Braves have a good bullpen. Anchored by one of the top closers in the game, Greg Kimbrell. That is strike 1 to Villar. American League has the advantage so far in interleague play coming into tonight this year, 42-29 over the National League. That one caused a little dance there by Villar. That pitch was down around his front foot. 268 his average on balls in play, and currently his overall batting average is 207. Major League average on balls in play a little bit over 300. So that would seem to indicate, and the experts use that as a measure of projecting what a hitter might do, and they would project that he would be hitting for a higher average. And some of these balls that he does put into play are going to start to fall more often than they have been for Jonathan Villar.
I think he'd be pretty happy to hear that.
There's one. RBI single for Villar, and it's 3-2 as he found that hole between the first and second baseman. That's his 22nd run batted in.
Talked him into it, Brownie.
He pulled that ball very nicely.
Broke it down and explained it properly. That way everybody understood. He finally got it and turned on it right there. Ryan gave him a pretty good pitch to hit. Does a good job of getting on top of the ball. I like to see that left-handed from Jonathan Villar. We know the pop is there, but still, I think his game is going to be on top. Driving line drives all over the ballpark. They found that hole on the right side.
No doubt. With his foot speed, if he can hit those two loopy hops to the left side of the infield, he could beat out a lot of infield hits.
Couldn't agree more.
Now Dexter Fowler, fly ball to left and a walk for Dexter. Ball. Yankees and Blue Jays tied 6-6 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Derek Jeter hit his second home run. Ryan Roberts, number 3. That's a series to watch. These two teams could be battling for the next few months. Foul back. 1 and 2 now. Jeff Luhnow said this in a recent article. It seems to be a giant magnet pulling a lot of teams toward the 500 win-loss percentage right now.
Yeah, does that qualify as parity?
It's certainly working out that way. There are a whole lot of teams within reach of one of those 2 wild card playoff spots in each league. 2 balls and a strike. So there aren't going to be, it would appear, a whole lot of teams who are not in contention for at least a second wild card spot in the next few weeks. Makes it tough for teams to be sellers. Outside for a ball, and Fowler has worked the count to 3-1.
Well, that second wild card has brought a lot more people into it. A lot more teams close to that second wild card, so they don't want to sell off too soon.
Foul back. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Corey Hepala and Brett Dolan are taking care of Astros pregame live and Astros postgame live. They'll wrap up this game for you afterwards. 3-2, 2 outs, 2 men on. They will be on the move on this next one from Aaron Harang. And it's strike 3. Fowler thought ball 4. A strikeout number 2 for Harang, and a big one for him, limiting the damage to 1 run, 2 hits, 2 men left, and through 4. It's the Braves over the Astros 3-2.
Astros by a score of 3-2, and we are reaping the benefits of a home field advantage presented by Coldwell Banker. It's October 9th, 2005. Playoff game against the Atlanta Braves. Lance Berkman with the opposite field grand slam. That was just the beginning that night in this extended game against the Atlanta Braves. Bradley, I'm sure you know what inning this is when Chris Burke hit that game-winning home run.
That is the 18th inning. Magnificent game.
It was a great game.
Roger Clemens coming out of the bullpen. There was so much to take in that night. Great night as the Astros beat the Braves. They would have had to go back to Atlanta for the next game had they lost that one. And Andy Pettitte had been sick, so it was uncertain whether he would be able to pitch or not. Andrelton Simmons, ball one.
And nobody wants to hear me talking about 2005 playoffs.
No.
But I think some of those extensive playoff series that the Astros played, they were exhausting.
Well, that's a good point.
And by the time they got to the World Series, obviously they put up an incredible fight, but they were on limited resources there.
Well, it's true. 1-1 to Simmons. And you guys, you being the White Sox, you had those complete game efforts in the playoffs. And guys like Mark Burley and Jose Contreras, so you pretty much waltzed in there with a fresh bullpen, right?
Fresh bullpen, and we had a 7-day, literally a full 7-day layoff between the time we won the American League Championship to that first game of the World Series.
That's amazing.
And that Albert Pujols home run that nobody wants to hear about again in Houston, that was probably the biggest one for me because that pushed Roy Oswalt into pitching that next game against St. Louis and took him out of that first game in the World Series where we would have had to face him. That would have been extremely tough.
Very important point. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Roger Clemens instead pitched game 1. He got hurt.
Yeah, he came out with a hamstring issue and immediately into that Astro bullpen and then play extra innings in game 2.
You bet. Not that you remember any of this, of course.
No, it's tucked away in a deep, dark place back there somewhere.
2-2 to Simmons with Laird and B.J. Upton to follow. Scott Feldman, 31 years old, was born in Hawaii. Went to the College of San Mateo in California. Had his Tommy John surgery prior to 04. The shot and Altuve's position right behind second. And take care of it for out number 1. Well, in previous years, that's a clean single on through to center field.
Yeah, the game's changed a little bit, evolving, keeping track of where these guys are hitting all these ground balls. And I know that up the middle is where they want to try and protect the most because a lot of those base hits are, in the past, were base hits up the middle. You were right. Instead, it's just a 4-3.
Yeah, just in general, the Astros are moving their second baseman a lot closer to the bag on right-handed batters than they used to. Gerald Laird, the batter. And you can see it there as Laird takes strike 1. That Altuve didn't have to track it 4 or 5 steps to his right and then brace and then make that long throw back to first base. He was already in a good position to throw.
That's actually a better point, that a lot of these potential great plays have turned into routine plays.
Yeah. 0-2. He's now 4th in the American League All-Star balloting at second base. He's come up 1 position. One and 2. It'd be great to see him there now. As you anticipate the home run derby, which players would you really like to see? Giancarlo Stanton, certainly, right?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say I just want to see Springer and Giancarlo go at it for a little bit.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I'd invest in some cowhide because there's going to be some balls flying around the ballpark there.
Struck out Laird. Maybe Edwin Encarnacion. That's number 5 for Feldman.
Yeah, that's what's amazing to me. We ran through Toronto early in the season. He wasn't doing much. And then all of a sudden just exploded.
BJ hit a homer in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 2.
that Evan Gattis could put on the show.
Yes, he could.
He's got 16 on the season.
Troy Tulowitzki is the National League Home Run Derby captain. Jose Bautista, the American League captain. They've changed the format a little bit. Fly ball to right field. Springer over toward the line. And it goes 1-2-3 in the fifth for Feldman. It's 3-2 Atlanta. Presentation of Houston Astros baseball is brought to you by AT&T Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. And by 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy recognizes those who, despite their own needs, put others first. Inside Minute Maid Park, it's 3-2. A good ball game with Atlanta leading Houston. The Astros coming up in the fifth inning with Altuve, Springer, and Singleton due to bat against right-hander Aaron Harang, who's trying to beat the Astros for the 7th time in as many starts. And Altuve got that hit-and-run single, a ground ball through the right side in the third inning with Fowler setting sail on the pitch to create a first and third nobody-out situation, but the Astros were not able to score. Jose is 1 for 2. That's one of the big innings here for Harang tonight to keep them off the scoreboard as he got Springer to bounce into a force play and then get a double play from Singleton. Bunted, and here's Harang barehanding and throwing to first to get him.
Time now for the AT&T Rewind. Back in Tampa Bay, we talked about how far George Springer can hit a ball, and I think this is one of the better balls I've seen crushed during a ball game. He hit it in the D ring, estimated at 438 feet. This blast off Aaron Harang ended up 441 feet away from home plate. Some of that unnatural pop and that God-given dancing ability, having a good time down there in that Astro dugout after that big-time bomb.
And he bounced into a force play second time up. And this foul ball heads for the seats. There's a strike on Springer. The Mets are demolishing the Athletics. They've already done it 10-1 in New York. We're told Colon, former Oakland A, winning it. He's 8-5 now. He beat Scott Kazmir. That's in for a strike. 0-2 now. Curtis Granderson hit his 10th home run, and Chris Young hit a couple for the Mets. So did Travis Darno. Fastball struck him out. That's number 3 for Harang. Now Singleton, who bounced into the 6-4-3 double play in the third, he's 0 for 2. Clayton Kershaw has lost his no-hitter after one batter. Dodgers 1, Royals nothing. Top of the 5th in Kansas City. Royals fans had to love knocking out Zach Greinke, former Royal, last night. Up and back, and BJ in right center field is underneath this one. Towering drive. It's a 7-pitch inning, and it goes 1-2-3 for Harang, and he maintains his 3-2 advantage.
Astros 3-2. The Astros and Whataburger are providing 1,000 tickets to active duty U.S. military and veterans for Military Night on Tuesday, July 1st. One member of the military will throw out the first pitch and receive a free Whataburger. Receive free Whataburger for a year. Visit Astros.com/military night to claim your free tickets. Valid military ID required.
For a whole year?
I apologize for butchering that because I couldn't believe what I was reading.
That's very nice.
That's real nice.
3-2, the Braves lead it. Scott Feldman up on the mound to open the 6th inning. Stella, Freeman, and Gaddis due up for the Braves. Well, Stella is 0 for 2. He fouled out to Matt Dominguez and hit a warning track fly ball to Robbie Grossman in left. Really starts that bat a long way from the zone. Ball 1. The key is, where are his hands when that pitch is being released, right?
Yeah, you can start pretty much wherever you want, but everybody has their little tweaks and hitches that they get. But you definitely don't want to have that bat wrapped around the back of your head when that ball is out of the pitcher's hand, because that does create a long swing.
Little chopper out to second. Altuve with the underhanded toss to Singleton. 1 out. We go to Julia Morales.
Thank you, Brownie. Comcast Business is taking us inside the game as we look at Freddie Freeman's ground ball heat map. First baseman's a left-handed hitter, and you can see right there sending ground balls to the right side. The shift on when Freddie comes to play, but he's flied out twice tonight. We're going to keep an eye on his at-bats and where he's hitting the ball this series, and we're going to update our viewers on Thursday. We see Altuve creeping back.
And we are still moving to his left as Freeman comes up for the 3rd time. He's lined to right and fly to center.
I thought they were just getting out of the way of the oncoming thunderstorms.
Forecast about every day this week. You don't have to worry about this stuff in California.
Oh my gosh, if we had one of these thunderstorms that came through today out in California, even though we need them probably more than everybody here in Houston, but there would be mass chaos on the highways.
Foul ball makes it 1-2. We were talking about Hurricane Ike, Lumber, before the game tonight. The Astros had to be displaced and go to Milwaukee for those home games, so to speak, with the Cubs. Everybody was scrambling that day. They had to travel to Milwaukee. The morning of the game, it was a night game, and the Astros never do that, but unusual circumstances. You guys had a flat tire that morning, didn't you?
Well, me and Dave Newhan had an adventure for adventures. Our car, one of our cars, I think it was my car that was parked here at Minute Maid Park, and I had to come back and get it because Dave Newhan and I were staying at Brad Ausmus's house, so I got my car, and we were headed back up to his apartment to drop him off, pack up, and then we were going to head off to my place and pack up. But the streets were full of debris and flooded, so you couldn't see anything. And I ran over some kind of steel rod that managed to get its way through one of my tires, and had to stop. It was about 100 degrees with about 150 humidity. We're sweating our brains out. No electricity throughout town. So in the middle of the dark, somewhere in southeast or southwest Houston, we're changing a tire. Eventually get that done, and then go to our pitch black apartments, pack up the bags, put everything in, drive back to the stadium. It was an absolute nightmare. And you hear stories about guys who were in high-rise condos with no electricity, so they had to haul their bags down 15 flights of stairs. It was absolute madness trying to get to the airport that day.
Well, Randy Wolf was the starting pitcher that night, and that's what happened to him. He lived on about the 14th floor, and when we got to the ballpark at Miller Park in Milwaukee, he explained that he had to come down, as you said, in darkness with a flashlight, carrying his suitcase, 14 floors, and he's the starting pitcher that night in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that was just a precursor as to what was going to happen later on that evening.
Freeman takes a walk. That's number 1. He's for having gas.
I don't know if you remember it or not, but I remember going to the airport, and it was a ghost town.
Yes.
There was only one airplane on the tarmac, and it was our airplane. It was the only plane that made it into Houston in the last 3 days, and it was the only plane to leave Houston in the last 3 days. So,
right.
Well, it was adventurous to say the least, just getting out of the airport.
Yeah, the airport was closed to everybody but us.
Lucky us. That was a seatbelt ride for about an hour getting out of here.
Evan Gaddis 0 for 2. There's ball 1. And they had flown all the other airplanes to other airports to avoid damage from Hurricane Ike. So they just brought the whole security crew out just for our little traveling group. And we're taxiing out, and somebody said, "Look out the window. There are no other planes here."
Yeah. The Intercontinental Airport. It's just eerie. It was just incredibly eerie to see a busy airport, what is normally an incredibly busy airport, just empty.
Very strange. Josh Zeid is warming up for Houston. 95 pitches for Feldman. There's a throw over to first. Freeman has not stolen a base. He's attempted to. And then, of course, Carlos Zambrano no-hit the Astros that night.
Yeah. He was on.
He was.
We've seen him pitch really well against Houston Astro teams, but that night, I think he realized the situation and took complete advantage.
1-2 to Gaddis. Gaddis is quite a story. He just not expected to be here doing this.
Truly, yeah.
23rd round draft choice in 2010. He's from Dallas. Went to UT Permian Basin. Got out of baseball for a while. Line shot goes foul. Did an assortment of odd jobs trying to figure out what it was he was going to be doing with his life. And last year he hit 21 homers in 354 at bats. His first major league season.
Braves are happy he found himself a home in Atlanta too.
Aren't they though? He's 28 years old. Served them well for years to come.
He's just coming into his prime.
Ground ball foul. The last 25 games, He's been on base in all of them. He's hit .363, 8 homers, 22 runs batted in. .438 on base average, .659 slugging percentage. And he's hitting .375 in June, 6 home runs this month. And of course, Brian McCann, the long-term catcher of the Braves, was a free agent and left and signed with the Yankees. And that leaves Evan Gattis as the starting catcher.
Talking to Braves folks, they say that he's still learning on the job. Hasn't been behind the plate in the big league level for all that long. Has a good arm, decent receiver, still working on that relationship between catcher and pitcher and making adjustments throughout the game and calling a game for those Atlanta Braves pitchers.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Feldman, as you know, was on the disabled list earlier this season with biceps tendonitis. So how far Bo Porter would push the pitch count tonight, that's a real question. Ground ball, foul again. He threw 103 pitches in his last start. Against Baltimore June 1st, he threw 106, and that's the most he's thrown since he came back from the DL. So it would be somewhat unusual if Scott would come out after the 6th inning. If he can get through this 6th, he's at 101 now. Runner at first, 1 out. If he gets a double play ball here, that would be well within the nice limits that Brent Strom would like to see, probably.
Yeah, they'd love to see him get through this 6th inning, not have to get in that bullpen here. One pitch gets you a ground ball, you have a chance to get out of it.
Fouled away again. Gattis continues this battle with Hayward on deck. This will be the 10th pitch coming to Gattis. The Pirates lead at Tampa Bay 6-3. They're in the top of the 9th inning now. Russell Martin hit his 4th home run for Tampa Bay. Evan Longoria belted number 10. Rays might be sellers pretty soon. Fly ball out to left center field. This one's hit a long way. Fowler all the way back. Fowler at the wall. And he hauls it in 400 feet away for out number 2.
I wasn't feeling too good about that fly ball, Brownie.
No. That looked like a long one.
I was going to get caught up near the gas pump out here at Minute Maid Park. And you know, Astro fans know how it juts out on that balcony. A pretty darn good play by Dexter Fowler to get back there. Make that play underneath the overhang. Good move by Freddie Freeman, tagging second base on his way back to first.
Yeah. Now Brent Strom is coming out, and the umpires are huddling about something as well. And they're not going to let him visit the pitcher until they have huddled and decided whatever it is they're working on. He did retouch second base, and that is required by the base runner. Once he rounds second, he has to touch it on the way back to first, or he could be tagged out. Now they've settled whatever issue it was, and Brent Strom is coming out.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the umpires going out there because we're not in the 7th inning on where the umpires do make the decision. You can see the second base umpire in great position to see Freddie Freeman make contact with second and go back out there.
There have been players who really didn't know the rule about that, and they've stepped on second, taken a step beyond, and then cut right by it and not retouched it on the way back to first, and they can be tagged out.
I think Jose Altuve did that earlier in the year, if I recall.
I believe you're right. So Freeman at first, Bob Davidson the umpire there, and Jason Hayward is in the box. Hayward triple to right center, and he lined to second base.
Maybe Bob Davidson was trying to figure out a way to call it balk.
Balk and ball. There it is, ball one. How many games down through the years have been like this? Atlanta 3, Houston 2. 6th inning. So many tight ball games between these two. A lot of well-pitched duels down through the years. That's a strike, 1-1. You know, we mentioned Tampa Bay a minute ago. Rumors are starting to swirl around David Price now. And according to the latest round of stories, Tampa Bay's not shopping him, but this would be an ideal set of circumstances for trading him.
Well, I think what you just said right there, they don't have to shop him. I think a lot of people are going to come looking for him considering the situation Tampa's in.
His contract runs through 2015. Tampa Bay is far behind right now. And could unload a substantial salary. Bouncer, and here's VR near second. With the throw on to first, and just gets Hayward. No runs, no hits, and a man left. Feldman still right in it. It's 3-2 Braves.
A progressive fan of the game, I want to wish a very happy 25th anniversary to Gary and Betty Bryant, who are celebrating with us. But not only are they just celebrating, they shared the celebration with me and the guys in the booth with cupcakes. These sweet people right here giving us cupcakes. I want to say thanks. They were delicious. I'm sure the guys would agree. How's the day going for you two?
It's going wonderfully.
What made you want to come out to an Astros ball game?
We've both been longtime Astros fans, and Betty couldn't think of a better anniversary treat.
Now I have to poke fun at you two a little bit. They've been together 25 years, but when the kiss cam camera gets on you, you freeze. You don't make the kiss cam. What happened?
I didn't realize what it was, and then when I saw myself, I was so shocked I didn't do anything. So you said we could get a second chance.
Go for it. Our own kiss cam right here. Happy anniversary, you two. Enjoy the day.
Thank you. We have.
Brownie.
That is special. No balls and 2 strikes to Man Dominguez. Thanks, Julia. And thanks to them for providing us with these excellent cupcakes.
I'm not going to turn down free food, Brian. And I mean, I'm not afraid to just, these are actually the perfect size.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Domingo.
This is real good, Brian.
You are checking out?
Yeah, Ash is going to be upset because I'm getting whipped cream all over his headset here. Sorry about that, Ash. But it was worth it.
And a strikeout for Harang. That's number 4 of the night. Feldman threw 107 pitches. Got out of that 6th inning. Ground ball hit by Hayward. Now the Astros trying to rally, take him off the hook. There's bullpen action. Josh Zide has been warming up for Houston. Here's Castro. Jason is 2 for 2. Single to right field and a flare of a single to left.
What are you talking about, Brownie? That was a rocket line drive to left.
Anthony Barbaro is warming up for the Braves in their pen. Yeah, that's the way it'll look in tomorrow's box score, as they say. But how does that make a hitter feel?
Oh, as long as it lands and it counts as a hit, it feels amazing, especially how Castro's been swinging the bat this year. He needs some of those to start falling.
There's a liner, and that's caught. 2 outs. Estella there for him. Now beat Chris Carter.
Line drive nonetheless. Swinging the bat good. 3 quality at bats from Jason Castro. And had some top spin on it.
Yes, it did. Carter single to center, and he walked. Pitch breaker, and it's strike 1. Nearing 100 pitches, Harang has the 3-2 lead. This time Carter's taking, and it's 1-1 with Grossman on deck. Cubs lead the Reds 1-0 there in the bottom of the 5th. Rizzo hit a 17. Nothing but breaking pitches here to Carter, and that makes it 1-2 now for Harang. Fastball there, strike 3 call, strikeout number 5. After 6, it's 3-2 Atlanta.
The Astros, and on to pitch now for the Houston Astros will be everyday Josh Zide, for lack of a better word. The man, since being called up, has been pitching pretty consistently, doing a good job of working that ERA back down. 11 2/3 innings, 4 walks, which is a pretty good number. 12 Ks in those 11 2/3. The big number down there is the batting average against and the home runs allowed in those 11 2/3. 3 on the year for Josh Zide. Last time we saw him was on the 18th.
Inside the Lines is brought to you by Scotch Blue Painter's Tape. Scotch Blue, see what you can do. Brothers hitting home runs. B.J. Upton in the 3rd, number 7. And in the 4th inning, Justin Upton. He hits number 15. The Upton boys have provided the Braves with 2 of their 3 runs, and all 4 of their hits have been for extra bases. They also have a triple and a double. That's where where it stands right now, 3-2. And the Upton brothers now have hit homers in the same game for the 4th time as teammates. Now Justin leads it off against Josh Zide in the 7th inning. He struck out in the 2nd before that 4th inning homer you just saw. Zide with ball 1, and good numbers for Scott Feldman tonight. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. 107 pitches for Scott Feldman. Zide deals, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. Josh had LASIK surgery over the winter. And Jason Castro, his battery mate, didn't realize that in spring training until he went out to the mound one day. Jason was busy finishing up his degree at Stanford. Hadn't been in touch with all of his teammates. Didn't realize all the latest developments, medical news, things of that nature. He had to give different series of signs last year when they were on the road. Zide couldn't see Castro's fingers against the gray uniforms, and because he had stigmatism, and so they had to go to a different touch system of giving the signals because he couldn't see how many fingers his catcher put down. It's a ground ball to short. BR takes care of it. So this year, no problem with seeing the fingers for Mr. Zide after the LASIK surgery.
I got a question.
Okay.
What took him so long?
Don't know.
Hasn't LASIK been around for a while?
It has been around for a long, long time. You're right.
It's a game of adjustments.
Yeah, but there were some issues last year, and they cleared those up. Chris Johnson now 1 for 2, an RBI double.
I think Julia was wearing a fanny pack when LASIK's first started.
Really?
It's that long ago. Mid-90s? Anything to bring the fanny pack back.
Yeah, I know you wanted to get to that fanny pack because there it is.
You don't need LASIKs to see that thing.
That fanny pack, in fact, is being preserved in the White House basement right now.
It's now in the National Archives. You know what's funny is I think she blamed it on her mom. It was her mom's, and her mom made her wear it when they were taking photos.
It's a hand-me-down then.
Guys,
Stays in the family.
I'm never giving y'all a picture ever again.
Oh.
Family heirloom. Things on the mantle now.
Can I say that a security guy yelled at me and said, "Don't let them make fun of you," and then he showed off his fanny pack, so he's wearing one. I'm not the only one.
Did you just say showing off his fanny pack? Come on, Julia.
I even took a picture of it for proof that I'm not the only one.
Do we have any more Julia vacation photos to show
No.
this year?
No.
That's going to be it.
Oh, come on.
Jeff Luhnow said today that Jesse Crain remains without a timetable to return to the Astros bullpen. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Matt Albers is here, though, and hoping to throw some bullpens this week. So this bullpen matrix could be changing for the Astros here in the next few weeks if they can get some of these guys healthy. That's a liner to center field and dropping in for a hit. Chris Johnson's 2 for 3 in his return to Minute Maid Park. Astros have decided to send Jake Buchanan to the bullpen. They wanted to make sure, first of all, that Brad Peacock could remain in the starting rotation, that he had recovered from his illness, and he has. So he's down to start Friday night against Detroit, and Buchanan's now in the bullpen. Andrelton Simmons is 0 for 2. Fly ball to center and a ground out to second. There's Ballmer.
Not a bad thing to have some depth out there in that bullpen. Some relatively fresh arms.
Well, you know how many relief pitchers most teams go through in a season.
My goodness, yeah.
Anthony Bass is out on an injury rehab assignment now. He was supposed to have started at Quad Cities, but that game was rained out on Sunday, and I think he's now starting tonight. We're still waiting for more news on Carlos Correa, who is supposedly headed for Houston for an examination to announce exactly the timetable for his injury.
Yeah, hopefully that thing isn't too major. maybe just some time off, but you'd really hate to see some ligament damage or anything like that. But good for the Astros bringing him here and make sure they correct it now instead of having it linger.
He's already been placed on the disabled list, and another shortstop has been called up to Lancaster to take his place. Jeff Luhnow has said that Carlos would be in the Arizona Fall League to make up for any at-bats he might be missing. Big cut there. And it's 1-1. Simmons can muscle up. He's hit 5 homers. Sometimes his swing gets a little long. But how many runs does he take away? That's the real question. One measurement, he took away 41 runs last year. Seems like a lot, doesn't it?
Seems like a great deal.
Wanted, and that's a beauty. Side slides and will not have a throw. Bunt single for Simmons, first and second, one out for Laird now. Very well executed.
Great bunt. Simmons can run a little bit, put it in the perfect spot. Not much you can do about that. Just tip your cap. Go on and try and get the next guy.
We got a tweet on Anthony Bass's rehab start tonight. 1 inning, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. That came from Michael David Savage through Howard Chen.
That's good news.
Got all kinds of people joining our staff tonight. Gerald Laird is 0 for 2, 2 punch outs for Gerald. We have correspondents all over the world, Homer.
Yeah, we are well connected. That is for sure.
But that the disturbing thing, we have yet to have anybody weigh in on the biting of the soccer player today. Got to get the real story behind that.
Got to get Evander Holyfield in here.
That's ball 1.
And that's not the guy's first biting.
It's his 3rd time, right?
Yeah.
3rd vampire attack of his soccer career.
I guess it's trending these days to bite people on the neck. I don't know if I've ever been mad enough at somebody to take a bite out of it.
Zide waits. Now he gets it to Villar. Up and over. 1-hop throw. Safe at first. The timing was disrupted. But Villar did get that throw from Zide in time to get the force play from 1 to 6 on Simmons.
Would have been a nice double play for Zide to have. Laird, the catcher at home plate, who hits it. So you know you've got some time. And this play is always called out before the play actually happens between the shortstop and the second baseman. It's an open mouth. That means you've got it. It's a closed mouth if I'm going to take it. So somewhere in between that pitch and that ground ball, Villar and Altuve forgot who had coverage.
Zide had to wait. Tony Sipp warming up in the bullpen. Here's B.J. Upton. He has a homer in 3 trips. There's at first and third now. Castro calls time and goes out.
Wide, even with the right-hander and a little bit of movement. What tells me that Villar has coverage on this play right there is the fact that Altuve stopped in his tracks.
Yes.
Because usually you want to stay out of the way if you're Altuve and not create that situation where he gets confused. You want to let one guy go towards the bag. Therefore, the pitcher only really has one decision to make. Throw it to the bag to the guy that's on it.
B.J. Upton. Ground ball, broken bat. Dominguez with the toss to Altuve for the force on Laird. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. 7th inning stretch time. 3-2 Braves.
7th inning. Braves are leading 3-2 over the Astros, and this moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. We're going all the way back to 1970, even though it looks like it's 1920. But Tony Horton tells Yankee pitcher Steve Hamilton to throw him another volley floater. You see, that was the first one he fouled off. He asked for one more, and he got it. Takes a hack at it, pops it up, and Thurman Munson, I believe, goes back there and makes a play on it. Eventually pops out, and Horton goes crawling back to the dugout after not being able to hit the falling floater. Careful what you wish for, huh?
Yeah. Anthony Barbaro has been warming up. He'll come in with a 3-2 Braves lead. And in 31 games, he's 2-1 with a 2.57 ERA. Very good number, just 7 walks and 31 strikeouts in 28 innings.
Throws firm out of that Atlanta Brave bullpen. Feature a fastball, curveball, changeup. Fastball about 93 miles an hour.
He's from Staten Island, New York. Went to St. John's University. 12th round pick by Seattle in 05. Claimed on waivers by the Braves prior to the 2011 season. He joined them that year. Last year he pitched 62 times for them. He faces Robbie Grossman. First pitch breaking pitch comes in for strike one. Grossman 0 for 2. Both times he's batted. 2 men have been on and 1 out. He struck out in the second inning. He hit a fly ball deep to center in the 4th. Rang in a position to win for the 6th time this year, and if he does get the victory, it would be 7 wins in his last 7 starts against the Astros. It would be his 15th career win against Houston. That would be number 1 among active pitchers. Foul ball off the mask of Laird. 1 and 2. Rang competed very well. He gave up the 2-out homer to Springer in the 1st inning. Got out of 2nd inning trouble. Got a double play ball in the 3rd inning. Left 2 more men on in the 4th. Retired the last 7 men he faced. Is on deck. Fowler due up 3rd in the inning.
Boy.
It's down and into Grossman. That makes the count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Barbaro has retired the first batter he's faced. 25 of 31 times. That's strike 3 called. Got number 6 of the night for Braves pitchers. It's been a relatively high strike zone tonight. VR drove in run number 2 for the Astros with a single to right in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 2. Braves bullpen has a 3.43 ERA, 25 saves and 34 opportunities. We are showing bunt tendencies there. Kind of ran up on it, but took it in tight for ball 1. Chris Johnson was moving in.
It almost looked like it was going to turn into a slash.
Yeah, it might have been that.
Remember Rafael Furcal did that a couple times?
Yes.
Kind of show bunt a little bit, bring that 3rd baseman in and hit a nice little chopper with the shortstop and beat it out.
That's right. It's kind of a running swing type thing.
Yeah.
1-1. A couple of times this year he's run up on the ball and he's been called out for being in front of the batter's box and made contact.
It's never a dull moment with VR up there.
Johnson's creeping in again at 3rd. He's showing bunt and he takes the ball. So he's got a game going there with CJ. 2-1. CJ's on the move constantly. He's kind of creeping in like a stealth move after dropping back last time. 2-2 now. You've seen guys down through the years bring that 3rd baseman in and slap the ball by.
Yeah, Kenny Lofton is the guy that comes to mind. One that drove me nuts was Eric Young.
Okay.
He was a right-handed hitter, and he could turn on some pitches, but he would square around every once in a while, bring me in, and then just turbo hook one down the line past me. I had no shot at it.
3-2.
Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts.
He wouldn't care where I was standing. He'd do it anyways. Tell me all about it after he got a hit on it too.
VR fouls it back.
But it's a good tool to have. I mean, if you can draw those guys in, it creates a lot of space out there going the other way.
Yeah, you can bounce it over their heads, drill it by them.
Puts a lot of pressure on the shortstop trying to play behind the third baseman and cover more ground.
That's ball 4. VR takes the walk. Third walk of the night for Braves pitching.
It's good to see VR on base twice tonight. Base hit, now a walk.
Now will he run?
I'd sure like to see him run.
He's 14 for 18 in steals. Dexter Fowler, the batter. Fowler's 0 for 2 with a walk.
And Dexter likes to take pitches and work counts. I'll give Jonathan VR a couple pitches to try and get into scoring position in this tight ball game.
Gerald Laird has thrown well this year. The thing about running in this situation, though, is there is one out, and Fowler has really been in a pretty good groove lately. He was 0 for 12 and then had 2 hits Sunday, so he seems to be coming out of that. And Fowler's been dependable with men on base. So don't get caught. You know, don't.
Yeah, well, you're right. You don't want to get thrown out in this situation. And you've got Fowler who can swing the bat. Look who's hitting behind him. Altuve's swinging a pretty good bat, too. If Fowler can get VR to second base, there's a good chance you get driven in with that guy on deck. And then you put yourself in a situation where Springer has a chance to take another shot at driving the ball out of the ballpark.
Right.
And really turn it into a big inning.
So the key is just pick a right pitch if he does go. Fowler has grounded into 5 double plays this year. One ball, 1 strike. Kershaw and the Dodgers lead the Royals 1-0. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Kansas City has 6 hits off Kershaw. Fowler checked his swing. So Beckett, Kershaw with no hitters in the early going. This going to be one of those years when there are 6 or 7 no hitters in Major League Baseball, do you think?
My goodness. Could be. Pitching is so good. Some of these guys going out there, you time it right against a team that may be slumping or have some key injuries that we've seen throughout the league, and you find some holes in that lineup. Got a pretty good shot at it.
Interesting pitch coming here on 2-1. A good count for a base stealer to go if he feels confident about it. He's going, and it's fouled.
Saw some numbers the other day, Brownie. Gave count, broke down when the best time or the most success rates or the highest success rate during which counts. Did you know which one was at the highest?
2-1,
3-0.
3-0,
which is crazy to me. 3-0 and 2-0 are the top 2, and those are fastball counts.
That's
which kind of made me think a little bit, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you wonder if the pitcher's so focused on trying to throw a strike in those situations that they absolutely ignore the base runner.
Could it be? That is interesting. VR had a pretty good jump last time. The Astros base runners in general have green lights, but they'll be told when they're not allowed to steal from time to time. 86.8% of the time on 3-0.
Is that not crazy?
That is very high.
Shocked me too.
Fowler foul tips it and strikes out. He may just have missed it. There was no signal from the home plate umpire that it was foul tip, so we'll just say swing and a miss. And 2 outs in the inning. Now Altuve, Jose 1 for 3. Tried to bunt his way on in the 5th. Pitch was kind of in on him, and he couldn't really get the barrel of the bat on it. That can be a good tactic if a pitcher can see what's happening there with the hitter squaring around in time.
I'd like to see Altuve give it. I mean, not Altuve. I'm sorry. VR at first base give it a shot trying to steal a base here.
This would be an excellent time with 2 outs in the inning.
Get there, great. If not, Altuve's leading off.
Strike 1. Springer on deck. Each club with 6 hits and no errors. The Braves have stranded 4. The Astros have left 5. Rockies lead the Cardinals in Colorado. It's 6-4 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Justin Morneau hit his 13th for the Rockies. It's a smash pass to diving Chris Johnson, left field. Here's VR going to third, and Upton's throw cut off, and into second, Altuve. He just hammered that pitch by the third baseman. And it's ruled a single for Altuve. He's 2 for 4 tonight. That's 105 hits for Altuve.
The guy rakes. And it doesn't matter. Usually a little more selective going the other way, but this year he's taking advantage of some of those pitches inside and turn and burn past the third baseman. Thought this was interesting right there. That throw off line, which is why I think Simmons tried to cut that ball off. And I think if he made a clean exchange, he might have had a shot at Altuve going to second base.
Yeah. Like he wanted to. He was turning his body and then he dropped it. So Altuve takes second on the throw. Single for him. He hit that high fastball, and when he came up the first time, Orang was throwing that high fastball. He got on top of that one, didn't he?
Sure did. Well, that's how good he is. I mean, he's making adjustments all over the place, picking which spots of the field he's going to. But much like we would like to see VR getting on top of that ball and hitting low line drives and bullets, Altuve does it expertly now.
That was it. Perfect example of it. Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, out for a visit. First base open. Springer will bat.
You see his hands rise up, and that's normally a pitch up in the zone that guys will kind of cut under a little bit, pop it straight up. But Altuve always seems to be driving through that top half of the ball.
Now the conversation from Roger McDowell might have been concerning Springer. His base being open, but Singleton's on deck. And Springer takes ball 1. Springer ripped a long 441-foot homer and then bounced into a force play, and then he struck out.
And the strikeouts are high for George Springer, so I wonder if McDowell came out and said this guy will chase if you make a good pitch, but God forbid you make a mistake, he's going to hammer it. If they do choose to pitch for it.
Ground ball to Simmons, and they did pitch to him, and they got him. And it's no runs, a hit, 2 men stranded. We move to the 8th inning, 3-2 Atlanta.
Astros, Rockets, Dynamo, and more. We have all your sports news covered. Check out Sportsnet Central every night at 6, 10, and midnight on Comcast Sportsnet. New pitcher on the mound, lefty Tony Sipp from Mississippi, and his grandmother is celebrating a birthday today, and she happens to be here, and you're able to watch Tony pitch. This is Georgia with me. Georgia, what is it like to be able to watch your grandson pitch on your birthday?
What is it now?
What is it like for you to be able to watch him on your birthday and spend time with him?
It is great to be down here with him today on my birthday.
She's having a great time. Okay, but he did tell me that you were a Braves fan at once.
Yes.
Is this true?
Yes, it is.
And what happened? At least you're not rooting for the Braves anymore.
I'm a Braves fan, but I'm with Tony today.
You're still a Braves fan? Georgia? You're not even wearing the right colors. We've got to talk to Tony. Georgia, it's great to have you. Happy birthday, and enjoy your weekend with Tony.
I will. Thank you.
Brownie, to you.
Okay, thanks, Julia. Tony Sipp from Mississippi, 1-0 with a 2.04 ERA. Look at the whip of Tony Sipp from Mississippi.
That's a beautiful thing, isn't it? He's been working hard to get that. He's got a good single on that fastball, thrown some pretty good changeups that we saw in that DC series to get himself out of some jams. But that opponent batting average is incredible. Right-handers at 226, but left-handers under 100 against the lefty.
And left-handed hitting Tommy La Stella, with the Braves leading 3-2. First up here in the 8th inning. He is 0 for 3. Left-handed hitting Freddie Freeman will be next, and then Evan Gattis. Atlanta with 6 hits. Houston has 7. No errors tonight. The Astros have stranded 7. The Braves have left 4. That is strike 1. Josh Zeid in 1 inning, allowed 2 hits, no runs, had no walks, no strikeouts. La Stella 4 for 13 against Southpaws. Sipp has not pitched since last Wednesday in Washington. 1 hitless inning. Been used heavily since he arrived on the scene in early May, and with his success, why not? He retired the first 20 men he faced after joining the Astros.
He's been pitching so well you can't even get him off the field.
Yeah, he goes to the outfield when he's not pitching. He's done that a couple of times. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count to La Stella.
You know, some guys have antics on the mound that you can't stand. They drive you nuts a little bit, and you wonder if it's for show. But I like the way Tony Sipp bounces off the mound after he makes each pitch. See him slap his glove after he threw that ball to La Stella.
Yeah, a lot of energy.
4?
Well, the week's rest has allowed him to gain a few miles per hour.
Probably didn't show up in the scouting report.
May not have.
That's what the thing I've noticed about Tony is that he'll make that bad pitch or borderline pitch. He comes back and almost every time makes a better pitch.
Broken bat off his glove out to second. Altuve on first. He did exactly that.
Seems to work pretty good with Jason Castro back there too. It doesn't seem that he shakes off too many pitches. Castro's got confidence in putting down signs for Tony Sipp too.
He works with a quick pace. Altuve ran in and said something to him. Freddie Freeman the batter now. Freeman's 0 for 2 with a walk. Altuve's out in right field now for Freeman. Freeman lined to Springer in right back in the first inning. Kind of a top spin line drive. He has that uppercut swing. Strike 1 for Sipp. He's been so good, especially against lefties. They're 3 for 33 against him, but he hasn't been bad against right-handers either. So he can be more than a situational lefty, that's for sure. Bouncer to first. Singleton, 2 outs. Sipp is just one of those guys who was not in the organization. when spring training rolled around. In fact, he was at AAA with the San Diego Padres. And he was going to go to the Braves AAA club at Gwinnett. And then he was getting packed and ready for that trip. And the Astros offered him a major league job. It's a no-brainer.
Can't turn that down.
No. Worked out very well for both him and the Astros. Darren Downs, the other lefty in the bullpen, so that gives the Astros two guys who can mix and match. Evan Gattis is 0 for 3.
Yeah, really the only blip that I can remember is up in Minnesota where Tony came in and gave up a couple home runs to right-handed hitters, but other than that, he's been pretty darn good.
In for a strike.
This is going to be a test for him right here.
Yeah.
It's a good thing he jumped ahead with that first pitch strike.
Right on the corner to Evan Gattis. Gattis seemed to kind of flinch a little bit. He had some movement going right before that pitch. Then he stopped.
Then he got the gas.
Yeah, he did. Whew. Braves taking advantage of this rare opportunity in an American League park to use the DH and get Gattis out from behind the plate. The rigors of going into that squat position many times a night. It's 1-2. Angels lead the Twins 5-1. They're in the top of the second in Anaheim with C.J. Wilson on the mound. Willingham and Morales have gone deep for the Twins. Indians 5, Diamondbacks 2 in the desert, middle of the third inning. Indians now 2 games below 500. Foul back. 1-2. Some people don't think Kirk Gibson will be managing Arizona that much longer.
Might be all kinds of movement around that National League West.
Well,
there's already been a GM firing down in San Diego.
Josh Burns, yeah.
A lot of people in San Diego speculating if KT's phone is turned on.
Kevin Towers. Jake Arrieta of the Cubs has 6 no-hit innings in the books against Cincinnati. And it's foul back. He's perfect through 6 against Cincinnati.
Oh, goodness.
At historic Wrigley Field. You don't think that place is hopping tonight?
Could you imagine?
Oh. Anthony Rizzo homered.
I actually got a text from one of my friends who's having a birthday in Chicago right now, and he sent me a picture from a rooftop in Chicago, so he's probably having a blast.
Yeah, if he has any idea that there's a perfect game underway.
Probably did earlier. I don't know about now.
He's enjoying it a lot more. Those rooftops are pretty far removed from the action. And get some conversations going. Some people may not be following every pitch. Swing and a miss, and that's a powerful 8th inning for Tony Sipp, who strikes out Gattis, sends this game to the bottom of the 8th inning. A 1-run affair, 3-2 Atlanta.
And as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game tonight. It's H-Town ball at Colt 4T5. Tweeting out that is Astros buddies with Jared Cozart on autograph day. Great pick. Can't miss those opportunities. Remember to tweet your photos to CSNH fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Brandon.
Thank you, Julia. We have changes for the Atlanta Braves. They lead at 3-2. They're trying to protect that lead. And they go with Ramiro Pena at second base, taking over for Tommy La Stella. And also at the same time making this move on the mound to right-hander Jordan Walden in 21 games. He has no record other than wins and losses, an ERA of 3.44, 10 walks, 23 strikeouts in 18 out of third innings. And Jordan Walden is the setup guy for Mr. Craig Kimbrell.
Not a bad guy to have in your bullpen. Throws hard. 96 miles an hour with the fastball. Good hard slider. It was a pretty firm changeup. Takes about 9-10 miles an hour off that fastball. It's a good fastball for most other pitchers, around 87, 88 miles an hour. Got his second save of the season last Friday up in Washington.
Yeah, he tossed a perfect 13th inning to get that one. Singleton is 0 for 3. There is strike one. It's an unusual delivery for Walden and all that leg action.
He is nowhere near the pitching rubber when he lets go of that ball. I mean, he is literally jumping at the hitter.
He is. Getting a little head start. He jumps. He leaves the rubber with his right foot.
Yeah, you can't be swinging at the feet. You got to be swinging at the arm, but it's a little unorthodox and tough to pick up.
Walden's 26. He's from Fort Worth, Texas. Chad Qualls warms up for Houston. Fastball at 94, up and in on the Singleton.
Watch that drive foot. Jumps off. Jerky. See that big body coming at you way before the arm does.
Now back. He's listed at 6'5". Went to Grayson County College. The 12th round pick of the Angels. Atlanta got him in the Tommy Hanson trade. And last year he pitched 50 times for the Braves. He was an all-star back in 2011. Had 32 saves that year for the Angels. 2-2. John Singleton. Walden just came off the disabled list 2 weeks ago. Missed 32 games with a strained left hamstring.
Can see why.
Drives it by him at 96 for a strikeout, 1 out. Strikeout number 8 for Braves pitchers tonight. He gets his whole body into it. And Dominguez is 0 for 3. No more perfect game for the Cubs. Jake Arrieta. Billy Hamilton broke up that perfect game bid. That's ball 1 to Matt. Jason Castro's on deck.
You think he bunted?
Probably did. That wouldn't be well perceived, would it?
Well, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's part of his game. You can't really argue it.
That's true.
But it's just kind of frustrating when you lose a perfect game on a bunt like that.
Single up the middle, we're told.
That's better news.
Yeah.
Break it up the real way.
2-0. Swing the bat. Billy's an exciting player. But yet he's not leading the league in steals. D. Gordon of the Dodgers.
How about the year D. Gordon's having out in L.A.?
Surprising year.
Very.
Of all the problems the Dodgers have had, he's not one of them. 3-0 to Matt Dominguez. Braves bullpen is leading the National League in strikeouts per 9 innings. 9.43 strikeout per 9 innings for their relievers. And there's a 4-pitch walk.
Every Thursday home game at Minute Maid Park this season is Dollar Dog Thursday. The next Dollar Dog Feast is this Thursday when the Astros host the Braves. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com.
Pitch runner at first. Marwin Gonzalez is the runner for Mad Dominguez. Dollar Dogs on Thursday at 1:10.
Man, sounds like a nice afternoon lunch.
Yes. No more healthy lunch. Jason Castro is 2 for 3. Lined out the third time up to second base. Gonzalez is not the type of runner we would expect to be attempting to steal a base here. He is 0 for 2. But he gives the Astros a little bit better speed than Matt Dominguez. And they're down to 5 outs remaining in this game, trailing by 1. There's ball 1. That's 5 straight balls thrown by Walden. And Laird is out to talk.
Yeah, that's usually a good time for a chat.
Carter's on deck. Yeah, with a 4-man bench that Bo has, it's time now to use that pinch runner, but he has to use him judiciously. And usually Bo Porter would wait until about this late in the ball game to use a pinch runner.
Margot can play third base.
True.
And again, I think like you were talking about, Brown, he's not so much the stolen base threat as maybe he's going to have a step or two on Matt Dominguez if a ball gets in the gap. Have a better chance of scoring from first base, but still, if you come back and tie this game or go ahead, you lose that glove at third base. Even though Marwin Gonzalez can play a decent third base, it's not Matty D.
Fly ball, and that heads for foul ground. 3 Braves players in pursuit of it, and left fielder Upton is there with the catch. Firing into second base. Excellent play by Justin Upton on that foul ball for out number 2.
That was a fantastic play. Justin Upton wearing the gray pants, not accustomed to what's happening here at Minute Maid Park. I'm sure he took a pretty good survey of what's going on, but here shows great instincts going over towards that part of the stands that comes out a little bit. But he obviously had the better angle on that fly ball. Chris Johnson would have had to catch that thing over his shoulder.
Yes, he would have. They bump together, and he snags it reaching over the stands. As he bumps into CJ, gets that throw back in. 2 outs now, and it's Carter with the slider, ball 1. You're so right about that angle, though. And CJ ran to the wrong spot because he was trying to twist and look at the ball back over his head. And Upton had a much better view of it. One and one. I can't remember another pitcher with this type of leg action.
I think of guys like Sid Fernandez, that left-handed pitcher that kind of jumped off sideways on the mound and then threw back way back across his body.
It had to be tough to pick up. 2 balls and a strike.
But Walden's delivery is extra special.
Not sure Mike Stanton would teach that.
I'd like to hear him try and teach it, though. That'd be fun.
Bouncer up the middle. That will get on through. A Carter single. Marlin to third. No throw from B.J. Upton. And Carter is on for the 3rd time tonight. That keeps it going with Robbie Grossman getting his 3rd chance to bat with 2 men on.
Good to see Chris getting a couple hits. Been scuffling all year.
He leads for the pinch runner. Alex Presley is pinch running for Carter. The 2 pinch runners used in the inning by Bo Porter. Derek Brock informing Presley the situation. And now it's up to Grossman. Grossman 0 for 3. For his last 23. And ball 1. Boy, if you root for guys to get hits, a lot of people are rooting for Robbie Grossman to come through in this situation. Went to Cy-Fair High School in Houston. Worked hard to get here. Had to go back down, then back up, then back down. And now with his batting average so low at 159. A lot of people probably have the sense he needs to break this drought very, very soon.
Yeah, he's got to. And those at-bats right around 113. Still some wiggle room to improve on. But if he doesn't soon, it's going to be real tough to battle out of the hole he's dug himself.
1-1. And often it's not necessarily that a player hasn't gotten going, but the team hasn't been getting a lot of production. So somebody becomes the focal point when others could be hitting and he might be off the hook, so to speak.
Well, winning is the cure of all evil.
Yeah. 1-2. Just anything positive.
Well, and it seems like these guys that are struggling always find themselves in these situations where they have an impact on the game or could have a potential impact on the game. Tying run at third base, and of course Robbie Grossman's up there.
It's uncanny.
Baseball's a cruel game sometimes.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
But if you're Robbie Grossman and you get a big hit right here, it can help erase away some issues. Maybe be the start of something.
Runner going, Presley, and he'll steal it without a throw.
See, now you got a chance at a game-winning hit.
Now 3-2. Coming into this game, Robbie was hitting .286 with men in scoring position. Big pitch coming. And it's a strikeout. No runs, a hit, 2 men left. We go to the 9th inning, 3-2 Braves.
Park, but make sure to come out to the ballpark. Celebrate Orbit's birthday weekend presented by Coca-Cola, Minute Maid, and Kroger. This Saturday, your Astros take on the Tigers at 3:10, and 10,000 fans will receive an Orbit rainbow jersey. Visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Now I'm going to send it out to Howard in the Crawford boxes for the answer to the Twitter question.
All right, Julie. Well, tonight on Twitter, we wanted Astros fans to make their case for Jose Altuve to be the best second baseman in all of baseball, because he's making a serious case so far this year. Ben Talisman, 8099, tweets, Jose Altuve is easily the best second baseman in baseball right now. He leads the AL in batting average, has over 25 stolen bases. He is a beast. Ed Bashinsky tweets, superior speed, hits for average, solid defense in a position that demands it. Jose Altuve 27 is the total package. Don't forget, you can still vote for Jose Altuve for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Voting goes until July 3rd. Thank you very much for tweeting me, Ho Chen CSN. Guys, over to you.
Master Ho really getting into those tweets. Good stuff.
I am, guys.
Good stuff. 3-2 ball game. The Braves lead it. They come up in the 9th inning, and it's lefty on lefty. Marwin Gonzalez at third base after pinch running for Matt Dominguez. Tony Sipp had a 1-2-3 eighth inning. He stays in to face lefty hitting Jason Hayward, who's 1 for 3, a triple. Right-handed help available in the bullpen. There is ball 1. 141 for Hayward against the Southpaws. 0 for his last 29. Ball out to left field. Grossman in. 1 down. And we'll see now if a pitching change is coming. It is with Bo Porter popping out of the dugout. He'll rotate back to a right-handed reliever. Sipp has gotten 4 in a row. Right-handed hitters Justin Upton, Chris Johnson, Simmons, Laird coming up. That's all that will be asked of Tony Sipp tonight, and he's certainly acquitted himself well as usual. 4 straight outs for Tony, 1 on a strikeout. 3-2 Braves. Back in a moment. Coming up, our NL reunion continues tomorrow night. Altuve and the Astros take on Freddie Freeman and the Atlanta Braves. Pre-game live starts at 5:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Make it 6:30.
Look at the pitching matchup for tomorrow night. For the remainder of this series, we'll look at it. Tomorrow it's going to be Colin McHugh going for his 5th win on the season. Excellent ERA at 2.76 against left-hander Alex Wood for the Atlanta Braves. And on that Thursday, getaway day for the Atlanta Braves, it's going to be a 1:10 game, and it's going to be Mike Minor for the Atlanta Braves and young Jared Cozart coming off a great start down in Tampa Bay, going for his 8th win.
Now Chad Qualls, the Astros closer, coming in with a 3-2 lead for the Braves. Is 1-1 with a 2.10 ERA. He got save number 9 his last time out in Tampa Bay over the weekend. They're facing Justin Upton. Upton homered in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. This one's in the air toward Dexter Fowler. And that's out number 2. Tony Sipp went 1 1/3 innings. He allowed no hits, no runs, with no walks and 1 strikeout. The Qualls save came in Cozart's 3-1 win over Price on Saturday night at Tampa Bay. Or Friday night, rather. And now just trying to keep it at a 1-run deficit facing Chris Johnson. Johnson is 2 for 3 with an RBI in the 2nd inning. The Astros in their half of the 9th inning had VR, Fowler, and Altuve due up. Now ball foul. Strike 1. Doug DeCenzo is the 3rd base coach for the Atlanta Braves. Played with the Cubs, among other teams. An outfielder. Terry Pendleton coaches first, former batting champion. in for a strike for Qualls, and he's in front 0-2. TP right there. Good third baseman.
He gets hit a little bit.
Yes, he could. Switch hitter, played for years for St. Louis, also Atlanta. And the slider got him on strikes. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning. 3-2 Braves. Houston Astros baseball is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. It's a one-run lead for the Atlanta Braves here in downtown Houston. The Braves have 6 hits. The Astros have 8. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning. And you see Dexter Fowler. He's due up second. VR to lead off against Craig Kimbrell, the Braves' excellent closer who has led the National League in saves the last 3 years. He is 0-1 with a 2.45 ERA. 21 for 25 this year. His last outing was a blown save.
Had some issues with walks in that blown save situation. Had 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, gave up 2 earned runs. But the big number in that one was 2 walks and 1 home run given up. Only home run he's given up on the season.
He's been an all-star each of the last 3 seasons, and back in the days of Billy Wagner, when Wags was the Braves closer, Craig Kimbrell stayed very close to Billy Wags, learned everything he could, and he's put it to very good use. Plummer.
He's put himself atop a very nice list for the Atlanta Braves. As far as saves are concerned, 160 on his career.
They're ready for some bottom of the ninth excitement. And VR, who drove in a run in the 4th with a single to right, drew a walk in the 7th, is 1 for 2 tonight. Kimbrell really rushes it up there. He was a 3rd-round pick in 08. He's from Huntsville, Alabama. Showing bunt. VR takes, and there's ball 1. Chris Johnson coming in.
I'd like to know if he's got a name for that position he gets into before he comes set.
Yeah, that's called the DeLorean. No, it's not.
That's a pretty good one, though, Brown.
It kind of looks like the doors are open. Yeah. Showing butt. He takes a look at it, and it's 2-0.
Been having a rough time locating that fastball for Craig Kimbrell.
There's a lot there to harness. It's high-octane, high-90s stuff. That is a strike call over the inside part of the plate at 98. 2-1. It's now 2-2. And VR has looked at 4 pitches. Career save percentage of Kimbrel, 89.4, is fourth in Major League history among those with at least 150 save opportunities.
Not bad.
Foul away. John Smoltz, the Braves' outstanding closer and former starting pitcher. He's one of the three with a better save percentage. Eric Gagne, 91.7. Smoltz, 91.1. Joe Nathan, 89.4.
Joe Nathan's is being adjusted here in recent days.
Yes, it has been. And foul back. And Kimbrel got save number 150 on May 18th in St. Louis. He became the youngest player to reach 150 saves. 25 years, 355 days.
I'm not necessarily shocked by that. Just because I know he's young, but he's got electric stuff. But he's one of these guys nowadays. I think they're going to bring up. They're going to have these guys groomed as closers.
Good point. Ground ball, and there's Pena. One out.
And what I mean by that is, right out of the chute, he goes right into the bullpen, and he's the Atlanta Braves closer. Not too many guys have done that in the past. And I think we're going to see a trend of more guys being groomed as those closers and coming immediately into big league bullpens and becoming that closer right off the bat.
You're right. They're usually selected fairly early in their professional careers, and that's what they do at each step of the minor leagues.
They're not starters that turn into bullpen guys. These guys can actually be those closers as soon as they start their careers in the minor leagues and then just continue it through the big leagues.
Fowler looks at ball one. Fowler's 0 for 3 with a walk. The Astros have not won one single game when they've trailed after 8 innings. They're 0 and 38.
So you're saying there's a chance, Brownie?
There's always a chance. Yep. Especially when down by 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that is, the odds are they're going to win at least 2 or 3 or 4 games. Even the worst teams in baseball will usually win that many when trailing after 8.
Surprise you every once in a while. You never know.
Fowler. Backhanded. Whoops. Pena lost the handle. Safe at first. Took it off the heel of his glove. And it is rule and error.
And that's the defensive replacement. Tough play going to that backhand side. Dexter Fowler hit that ball pretty well. Might have jumped up and bit him in the heel of his glove. Didn't catch it cleanly. There's always that realization after you kick it too that the guy that just hit it can run a little bit and you've really got no chance. Tried to corral it.
First error of the night.
Well, you're in the right part of the lineup.
Pena's 4th error of the year. Altuve is 2 for 4. Ball 1. Kimbrel pitched a couple times in 2011 against the Astros. Astros' last walk-off homer, June 12th. Chris Carter provided it right here. Back and it's 1-1. Altuve, the American League batting average leader when the night started at .336.
A lot of stress hitting that high, Brownie.
Now .338.
2 hits. Your average only goes up 1 point.
Bouncer to second. Jumping over at Fowler. They get him at second base. And that's out number 2. As Pena got it on to Simmons. And Fowler avoided being hit by the baseball. And he would have been out automatically had that happened.
Makes for pretty good TV. Watching Fowler jump that high.
Yeah.
Not sure if he had to, but it looked good. Got some spring in that stuff.
Way up and over. 4-6 force play, and now it's Springer batting. Altuve at first, 2 outs. Springer ripped a homer to the Budweiser patio in center field in the first inning. He's 1 for 4. It was measured at 441 feet. That's up, and he checks a swing, ball 1.
Why not take a look back at it? It was impressive. High fastball, gets on top of it, hammers it. Ruining somebody's afternoon.
Well, Harang trying to get in his kitchen, and he hit one almost into the kitchen. There's Altuve taking off, and the throw, and he steals it. That's a bold move, and Altuve is in. He's the leader in the American League. That's his 27th steal.
It's a bold move for mere mortals, not Jose Altuve. Seems to pick his spots just right, gets a good jump. But yeah, a little bit risky with a guy that can throw 98 miles an hour. It's good to see the fans enjoying this high-stress situation.
1-1 count. Important to steal that base early enough in the at-bat to give the hitter a chance to get you home.
So true.
One and 2 to Springer. And some high heat.
This is a definite power matchup between Kimbrel and Springer. Springer really doesn't back down and just try and put it in play. He tries to rip the cover off the ball.
Way up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Singleton on deck. The Braves as a team have 26 saves and 35 opportunities. And that does it. A strikeout ends the game. Kimbrel saving it for Aaron Harang. Harang now with 7 straight wins over the Astros, 15 career wins, and the Upton brothers both go deep as Atlanta claims the opener of this 3-game series. Final score, Atlanta 3, Houston 2.